Alright, welcome one and all to a very special blowout event of Divergence Cast. I am not your host, but as I am the ever energetic, all powerful Sundara Stranger, this point is moot. Joining us today is your real host, the constantly sarcastic dude who always goes along with my insanity, JJ.
Hello.
The Moe time traveler who I keep trying to get into a bunny outfit, Alex.
What's up, guys?
The ever emotionless and reliable alien who's joined us for 15,532 time loops, Adam.
Hello.
And
I
last
do
but
not
not
speak with
least,
emotion.
oh, what?
I do not speak with emotion. I am an alien.
And last but
Call
not
me
least,
Yuki.
the mysterious Esper with a creepy smile, Radow. Alright, JJ, start us off.
Alrighty then. How are our weeks this week?
Oh god, we got like 15 million simulcasts to go through.
Yeah. Well.
Alex, I started watching Working.
Oh,
What
nice.
do you think of it? What do you think about it so far?
I'm enjoying it a lot.
What do you
I
think
finished
of
the first season the other day.
What do you think of Takanashi's or whatever his name is? His specific whatever that quirk he has.
I think it's weird as hell, but
Yeah,
but in the household he grew up in, I kind of
yeah.
understand it.
When I first watched the show, it just seems so weird. He's like pretty much loves everything small,
Basically, he's a
and
pedo.
just pretty much comes off as pedophile.
He's freaking weird.
Yeah.
How many episodes have you watched?
I just started the second season, so 14.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I do wanna point out in episode 13, I feel like they saved like a quarter of their budget for that scene where one character's oh, spoilers because I don't care. They I feel like they saved like a quarter of their budget for that one scene where the it's just a reflection in a mirror of what's her face getting ready.
Mahiru.
Yeah, Inami or whatever.
Yeah.
Inami. The like for some like I just noticed that the animation of that one sequence just stepped up above the rest of the show.
Hmm.
And also, I do want to point out. I know this is no. Actually, I'll save this for later. I'll save this for later. I don't even know if I want to say this.
Does it have to do with the show, or it's something
It does.
completely
Yeah, no, it
different?
has to do. It has to do with the show, but it's so out of character for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, me, well, I suppose now that I've finished my classes today, I'm on fall break, but, this week I've mainly, since Eliza's been released for Skull Girls, I've been trying to get better with her, since I really like how she plays. She's much more offense-based for me. Also, fun fact about her, she has skins for Tharja, Red, Faye Valentine, Ragyo, and of course, Dio Brando. And they all look amazing.
That's
Theo all
brilliant.
along.
Yeah, they all look fantastic as well, and just her movesets are weird, fun. She is kind of creepy at times, like all of her moves take her flesh away, and she has moves where she's just a skeleton, her cat-like skeleton inside, and
Female Titan.
eh?
Female Titan.
No.
Oh no, Skyforger's the only one who's watched Attack on Titan here, right?
Oh, no, yeah. Well, I have.
I watched 7 episodes.
I've
You didn't get
watched it
far
all,
enough for
yes.
this.
But it doesn't matter because I don't plan to go back to it anyway. So
Okay, what were we
Well,
talking
I
about?
made a reference that nobody got. Awkward.
Uh, she's not female. She doesn't really look like the female Titan. It's like her flesh can be torn away and stuff, and and she can switch over to her inner skeleton sort of character, and she has special moves sets for that. And let's see, uh, story is well, she's definitely well, it definitely makes sense why she has Ragyo and Dio color palettes. I'll just leave it at that. Other than that, I have also watched the first episode of Book 4 of The Legend of Korra, and I'll say this right here. Kuvira, who is voiced by Zelda Williams, is just awesome as hell.
Agreed.
Yeah, just bad, just badass, and so all the way, hell, just awesome. An awesome villain sort of character.
Yeah.
It was me, Dio.
Well,
And let's see what else. For some reason, I decided to rewatch the remakes of Black
Ooh, what was
Lagoon
that?
again. What was that? Oh well.
I like something breaking.
Hopefully nothing
The
broke.
organization is attacking. It's a raid.
I guess since we did that opening, I want to say the Melancholy of Balalaika is still the best of the remakes. And other than that, the only other thing I really did was finish Katanagatari and watched a lot of premieres this season. That's about it for me.
Hmm.
Oh wait,
Uh,
I did play the Ridge of Bahamut game, but other than that, nothing else.
How was that?
I'm questioning how they were able to make such a good anime off of that game. It's like the only gameplay to it is you tap the screen once and then monsters die. I mean, there's nothing else to really do in it, and the tutorial isn't obtuse, yet at the same time the mechanics are stupidly simple that it's just dumb as hell. I don't get how they were able to make anything off of that, let alone something so good as Genesis. Yeah.
Introducing new gameplay mechanics. Tapping the screen.
Literally, all you do is tap the screen once. Then a monster dies, and you tap again, and another monster dies. It's not even like you're tapping the monster, it's just tap anywhere on the screen. I think you can use items, but it's stupidly simple.
casual gaming at its finest.
Yep. You were talking, Alex?
I've been playing a lot of stuff. I've continued playing Deus Ex. Started Fable
Oh, nice.
the other day, and
Chicken
pretty much
chaser.
again, like I was saying before, I've pretty much been exclusively playing Shadows of Mordor
Nice.
since I got it last week. That's pretty much it. And besides that, just pretty much watching all the simulcasts
So,
coming out.
I've not really been clear. What is the Nemesis series? The Nemesis, not
System.
the Nemesis system. Because I've heard about it and it sounds interesting, but I'm not quite sure how it works.
Essentially, what it is like the orcs that or like the Urukai that you'll face in the game know about you, and they even have like pretty much once you kill one Urukai or like a couple, you could advance time and other orcs will like take their place in the ranks. Or if they kill you, or if they kill Talion, they rise up through the ranks essentially. And what happens also is say you let one get away, but he has like a burn on his face, so you let him with like a burn. He has a fear of burns. Next time you see him, he'll have like a burn on his face, and he essentially
So-
wants to get revenge on you.
So, like, the characters actually exist and interact with each other realistically within the
Pretty
game's
much.
world.
Pretty much. I
Interesting.
wouldn't say it's good to the level as that reviewers have said, but it's still pretty impressive to me.
What system are you playing it on?
PS4.
Oh, okay, because I know if you were playing it on at 360 or PS3, they did tone that down a bit. So,
It's been fine when I've been playing it. So.
well, yeah, you're on PS4, so you should be at maximum capacity for
Yeah.
what they did for that.
Yeah. So the game looks pretty good. I would say Talion, like the character model, looks a little weird at times, but otherwise it's a pretty good looking game.
Stealth and kiss your wife.
And it's pretty much like right at the start of the game. I sort of found that funny because I was like, oh, so that's what this is from, huh?
Yeah, and I saw a joke earlier about aliens isolation. It was like press whatever to stealth and then kiss the alien.
I'm interested in that game too, but it'll probably be a while till I get around to playing it.
Let's see. How about you, Radow?
Oh, me? I've had a quite quiet week. Mostly I had to restart my thesis because I showed it for my instructor and she pretty much said that do it again.
Uh,
Well,
what was that?
yeah.
What? Sorry. What were you talking about? I didn't quite hear you.
Nothing. Just my studies being quite
Ah, yeah,
has been
yeah,
harassing me, you could say. Well,
yeah. I know.
aside for that, it's been just simulcast too, and I and non-stop listening to new albums from Equilibrium and LVT,
Mm.
and I started the Agents of Shield actually
Oh,
just
nice.
this week. I'm currently on episode 11. It's it's uh, it's been quite interesting to catch up.
Well,
Or,
did you already go, Stranger, or
Nope.
no? Okay. What have you been doing this week?
Other than the endless simulcast and a ton of work, I've just been playing Smash just all day long. Like, seriously, within the first few hours after I bought it, I had already unlocked all the characters and stages.
Huh.
I've just been playing that sucker like crazy. It's so good.
9 out of 10 of your tweets are about Smash.
No, 9 out of 10 is anime, and the other one is Smash. That's how
Not
it
this
works
week,
out
dude.
anymore.
9 out of 10 doctors agree.
The 11th doesn't want to go. No, it's the 10th that doesn't want to go. Crap! I messed up a Doctor Who joke. Whatever. Okay, can we talk about Doctor Who for a second? I know it's not
Sure.
anime, but
Sure.
the last episode, the most recent episode, was. I feel so ashamed as a Doctor Who fan. God, the most recent episode really let me down. So
I
I just
can
wanted.
understand that, but personally, I liked it. Like
I
I haven't really found that much wrong with this season, besides maybe that they've taken sort of their sweet time trying to characterize a new Doctor.
I really have liked this season so far, except for this most recent episode.
Why?
Well, I'm really not a fan of Deus Ex Machina endings, which was, what are we gonna do about the moon? It's gone now. Oh, it's back.
Yeah,
Because you know,
the whole a lot of the stuff with the moon, just overall like the physics too, of some of the stuff that like nothing happened on the Earth while the original moon was gone.
oh
So it's
yeah,
like
that should have
okay,
been.
there should have been like momentary world ending kind of stuff
So
going on, and
why?
then like a minute later the monster of the week, or the thing that was in the moon, the hatch from the moon, lays a new moon. And also the one thing I took issue with, even though I have no idea how this stuff works in space, how on the lunar base Clara took out the binoculars and looked at the lights on Earth, and I was like, did that even work?
No, it wouldn't. Well, actually, it kind of could. They made the Earth look a lot bigger in the sky than it actually is. I'm an amateur astronomer, so I know a bit about these things. They made it look a lot easier to see than it really is from the moon. Um, and Also, I just want to say, just I feel like Clara's morals were way off with because really, if this thing is gonna like, she was about to trade one innocent life, like she was about to save one innocent life at the expense of potentially billions of innocent lives,
Yeah.
and that just was so. I felt like the conflict in this episode was just silly.
Hmm. Yeah. I can see that point. And I will like sort of agree with that. But I still overall enjoyed the episode. I did like Clara just like laying into the doctor at the end
Oh
there, though. I
yeah,
like that personally.
that was a good scene. Um,
And here's the thing, overall, like say what you will about the night, like however you felt about the last episode, this season has done much better in terms of giving Clara like better story arcs, or just better just overall better fleshing out her character than it, because being around for like a half season, and the plot that they had for her with the Doctor, the 11th Doctor, it just sort of felt like she was there most of the time.
Yeah,
Like,
she
no,
didn't
no
have
real
a
importance
very
in this
important
one.
role.
You know, in this season so far, like I do appreciate that they've made Moffat and crew pretty much made her character better. Now, I would say that it sort of comes at the expense that like it took till say the last 2 episodes or so to really get a beat on the character, the 12th Doctor. But that has been a strong point though.
I agree.
How much better they done with Clara this season.
Because I felt like in season 7
Mhm.
with Matt Smith, they kind of just said Clara is the most important girl in the universe, and then she just kind of stand around and not really show why, and they just kept on telling us that she was the most important without giving us any real reason until the very end. And then, but with this season, she actually does play like more major parts in the episodes, and it's just as a character, I think she's had a lot of better screen time.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm actually really excited for next episode because it's an episode I've been waiting for, I guess, because we finally just sort of get the Doctor on his own, see how he
Yeah.
is without having to bounce off of Clara, essentially.
Also, last time they did an episode based on an Agatha Christie book, it was amazing. So,
Hmm.
so I'm excited for this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
What would you say
anime.
is? All right, never mind.
No, no, go. Now I want to know. You started a
What
sentence. You got to finish it.
What's your favorite episode from this season?
Um, ooh, I have to think about that because I think aside from this most recent one, Kill the Moon, I think all of them were really good. Um, I think my favorite would probably be hold on. So what were the episodes here? We had the
The first
first one with the
episode,
dinosaur,
Into the Dalek.
Into the Dalek. I think Into the Dalek was is up there.
Robots of Sherwood, even though I know it was sort of like they're sort of weak parts, I sort of really had fun watching that episode.
Yeah,
It's Robin Hood
Robots
and
of
the Doctor
Sherwood.
sort of like, bouncing
Robots of
off each
Sherwood
other.
was a lot of fun. I really liked that episode as well. Okay, you know what? I'm going to say that's my favorite one just because of the line, "I am the doctor, and this is my
It's my
spoon."
spoon.
I'm gonna give it to Robots of Sherwood just for that.
And then let's see, what was it? I'm trying to
Listen,
remember. Listen was a pretty good episode. I would say overall, The Caretaker is probably my favorite one. 'Cause I actually really enjoyed that. It was good on
Oh.
comedy, good between the
Yeah.
characters, and yeah, it's pretty much that was a very enjoyable episode. Especially when I loved that the 12th Doctor essentially thought that mistook the person that Clara was in a relationship with for the person that looked like the Matt Smith.
Yeah. I
Because
think
this is sort of like
if we ignore the spoon comment, I think The Caretaker was one of the stronger episodes. I think I might have to give it to Listen though, if I'm like just being completely serious about what I think the episode was the best done overall. I think I would say Listen.
and it's actually sort of thing. Moffat has done a good job with some of the more horror based episodes or like more tense based episodes. He made what's it called? He made the first Angels episode, right?
Yes.
Don't Blink. I love Don't Blink.
He also did The Empty Child.
Yeah, that was a good episode
Mommy,
too.
that
Yeah.
one.
Are you my mommy?
He also did
Mommy.
he was also responsible for Silence in the
Yeah,
Library.
those are like two of my favorite episodes from the series.
Yeah.
Also, here's the thing. When I watch it, like I'll be honest, I sort of have a fear of the dark. So it's sort of to have an episode play off of that was pretty interesting, especially just you have these things that'll eat you if you go into the dark, essentially. And it's funny. I always just recite that line. Or I'll just like, and when see people talk about
Hey,
horror
who
based
turned
like
out the
stuff, just
lights?
like, hey, who turned out the lights? And just repeat that. That was an
Man,
excellent episode.
man, this Doctor Who's simulcast discussion is going swimmingly.
Me and me
I'm
and
gonna
Adam
throw
are.
out with the episode Listen. I liked that it answered the question of what the heck was that barn in the 50th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, actually, that's what I really liked about that episode. How Moffat pretty much tied that back to the 50th. to
Yeah.
Day of the Doctor.
Okay, so we should probably talk about
Yeah.
anime at some point, considering
Yeah.
the overall topic
Coming-
of this
yeah.
podcast.
Coming next year, TARDIS cast.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh,
Join
oh,
podcast for anime, stay for Doctor Who.
one thing I forgot to mention in my weeks is I did check out that one new Starship Icarus series on Cracked. It's pretty funny, but yeah, we should move on to anime.
I watched Mardock Scramble,
Oh, okay.
which is an anime. So
Yeah. I remember watching
or
the first.
I watched
movie,
the first
but-
one.
Yeah,
I
I
watched the
haven't-
first movie, and I think my brain melted.
Yeah. 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 And that one. Yeah.
I think your brain melted too,
Yeah, and it's been forever
Yeah,
since
Cass.
I watched that,
or
and
maybe
I.
someone turned out the lights.
Is this melted all over again when we start mentioning it?
Melting
Okay.
relapse.
Yes, let's get into that simulcast. Let's
Yeah.
start with the anime of the year, Hi-sCool Seha Girls.
I was going to start with this with Log Horizon. Why'd you have to? Ah, okay, fine. Let's talk about it.
Database.
Let's just.
Log Horizon has nothing on Seha Girls.
Do you want to talk about Sega Girls first or Log Horizon? Tell me which.
Sega.
All right.
I didn't
talk.
watch it, so tell us about it.
Okay, it is this wonderfully paced CGI show that, oh my god, it's terrible. I can't even, I can't even continue the
You can't
joke
even
anymore.
finish jokingly being serious about
No.
watching the show.
I
Or
couldn't even get past the way.
All I saw was just a couple of pictures, and those were awful already.
Like, it's just a mix of, like, nostalgia and terribleness. Like, I'm gonna keep watching it because it was just, like, entertaining despite how stupid it was.
I grew up as a Nintendo kid, so I have no
Oh,
nostalgia for
Nintendo stuff
Sega,
on,
unfortunately.
same thing here.
PlayStation.
Same thing here.
So no nostalgia for me either.
Yeah, if you don't have that nostalgia, all that's left is terribleness.
So I guess if we have nothing else to talk about that, please tell me we don't have anything else to talk about that one.
No, I think we're good. I think we've
I think we
conveyed
should log
exactly how
in
bad
and
it
go to
is.
the database.
Doesn't even
I-
matter
I-
if there's no hope.
Okay. So yeah, that was a pretty strong first episode for Log Horizon.
Are you ready for the punchline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the transition over to PA Works was just seamless and just
You mean
all-
Studio Dean?
Dean!
Oh, yeah, Dean. How did I get those confused?
EA Works was the
Yep.
maker of Angel Beats.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine we would be very hyped if that was it. But yeah, the transition was pretty solid between Dean and had a lot of cute moments as well as nice economic moments, like how Shiro was the main thing that seems to be kicking off this arc is the need for money, and and I really liked how they explained like how all the monsters get the money, sort of thing.
The world building in that show is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
I also about Dean's animation. I saw some comments about how Shiroe, or however you say his name. I think it's Shiroe or something like that, because of the e at the end. But
I think it's just another form of Shiro.
I've heard it
Well, in the
pronounced
show
both
they-
ways
yeah,
in the show.
they pronounce it Shiro. So.
Okay, so I'll just say Shiro because that's what I'm used to. But I started saying I feel like I have to start trying to say Shiroe because that's how they say it. But I saw a bunch of comments about how now that Dean's picked up the animation, how he looks less devious and less intimidating. But I know that because I've been working my way through Higurashi, that that Studio Dean can make characters that are normally freaking adorable look absolutely terrifying. So I'm hoping we get to see some scary looks thanks to them.
I didn't even know they had changed the studio before I finished the episode. I didn't notice anything different.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they did a good job.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was like a pretty
exactly.
flawless transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, like had I not seen JJ and Stranger mention it sometime before, I really wouldn't have known the difference.
Yeah.
To be honest, because it pretty much looks exactly like they did on their PA Works.
Yeah.
So,
I will say that the character models seem a little bit different, but
I
overall,
was
I
gonna
thought
the one thing Nyanta, the one thing I noticed about Nyanta, his head seems smaller.
Yeah.
Is it just me? I
Also,
noticed
just
that.
with him, I feel like his lip sync was off, but that might just be me
Mm.
Well,
nitpicking.
I probably I wouldn't really notice because for some reason when I'm on my Kindle Fire, when I watch anytime I've watched Log Horizon on there, for some reason the first couple seconds of the show is like silence, and then
Oh
it
no,
gets
that's just
into
how it is.
I don't know. Never mind then.
Yeah, I think they just do that for some reason. I don't know why.
Mm.
Or at least maybe I have the same issue and we're weird, but no, I thought that's just how they did it.
Yeah. Uh, let's see what
Well,
else.
I also really liked how they finally brought back Naotsugu out of the background and
Oh
actually started making him useful again.
yeah, definitely.
I liked how they
He,
went into his life before the game
yeah,
as well.
oh yeah, I really like that part as well. It's like he was in sales or something for a company, and so he kind of knows how to interact with people, sort of, and it's like one of Shiro's flaws is he tries to bring everything out in the open, whereas Natsuga, however you say his name, was
Naotsugu.
yeah Natsugu. Dang it, him. But basically, he's like that's usually not a good way to handle some things. So it really bounced. I think it really felt like it might make them bounce off each other better. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to see some dynamic between them just negotiating.
Yeah.
Maybe they can play like a Natsugu good cop, Shiro a bad cop type thing.
That would definitely fit since he's basically like the villain in glasses
Yeah.
with the setup that you give him. Yeah. Hmm.
That has the potential to be hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would
And
say
they got,
I have one where it just sort of fails, like them taking it for a test drive, and then like the second instance of it, have it be serious.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Uh. Oh.
and they kept database
Of course, database. Oh yeah. The yay. Database is back again for the opening.
back with
Uh.
a vengeance.
Yeah. I do like the new U-chan or who had Call for Trouble?
Mhm.
That's a pretty good song.
Adam. Pause recording.
So what we got on hold
Okay,
music now?
now we're back on recording. Uh,
Okay.
oh yeah, you the new Yu-chan's or Yu-chi, I can't remember. It was something with an asterisk at the end. But I think I prefer that one over your song from the first season.
They're both good songs. I actually
I
really
really
like
like
the.
both of them.
I
Yeah,
like this.
they're
I
both
like this.
good. It's just I think I like the new one a little bit more.
I actually liked the sequence.
I think the way it breaks down for me is I think I liked the animation for the first ending better,
Yeah.
but I can deal with the song. I can have the song say it's a bit better
Yeah.
for this new one. I really like it.
Also, I kind of spoiled myself like months ago on when I looked up some stuff on the wiki about one of the new characters. So it's going to be interesting to
Why
see
would you
that.
do that?
Oh,
I don't.
that's what I was gonna point out. Something about a new character
Yeah, that's the one I'm
when I
talking
got
about,
cut out when I got cut off, I guess,
but I'm not
from the
going to
call.
say anything.
Yeah,
I
let's not
kind of
spoil
yeah.
anything.
I really should not look at the wiki because I kind of had that spoiled for Randall House Code from the first season as well.
Oh yeah. Well,
The-
I mean, the opening kind of spoiled
yeah,
that if you were paying attention.
yeah. But I didn't know the whole adventure stuff and NPC stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
I guess. Anything else we want to comment about Log Horizon Season 2?
I actually found the how it ended, how it fast forwards to the. I'm guessing it was going to be a raid
Yeah.
or whatever the battle is. I found it very sudden because it went from them. It went from Shidoway trying to negotiate with the one guy and then him talking to Natsugu when they're up in the mountains to pretty much Shidoway and what's her name, I can't remember her name.
Akatsuki.
I know
Akatsuki
her name,
being
but I can't pronounce it.
well, Akatsuki, like Stranger said, how they're in. I'm guessing. What would that like space they're in between be?
Oh,
Like,
that's their respawn load screen.
yeah, like it also I think sets up. I'm not sure. Is it full core or is it just gonna be
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
25 episodes.
25 episodes.
like who knows when that like actual last battle is gonna happen? But just to have it end like that, I actually think sort of like increase the excitement of the build up
Yeah.
for that battle and all that.
I think Log Horizon does a very good job of skipping around
Yeah.
the timeline without messing up the story.
Yeah.
I just like, and I'm saying I'm not saying I really have an issue with what they did. It just sort of felt sudden because like one moment they
I
were
thought it was really
somewhere
cool.
else. It was still One moment they were, the post Halloween celebration or whatever it was, and then the next it's Christmas Eve, and I sort of was like what?
Yeah.
But
I
otherwise,
noticed a
I was
distinct
fine with it.
lack of pumpkin spice lattes at that festival.
The one part, how they're each trying to do as good as they could in the contest, you still end up like last place anyway. The one part with the girl that likes Nyanta jumping for the biscuit or whatever it was, and being like chubby and like crossing that part was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was also adorable.
Yeah. Oh, and that cute ugly monster Akatsu, whatever.
The slime thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That that was funny. Anyways, anything else we wish to comment on Log Horizon 2, Season 2?
Well,
Okay.
it was.
How many of you have
Database.
watched the first episode of Rage of Bahamut Genesis?
I have.
Nope.
Okay. I just want to say that this is probably the series I'm most excited for right now. It's just the main character. It's Favreau, the main character. He's basically Joestar levels of brilliant stupidity. Just
Yeah, it was like the
yeah,
whole that little game of like one-upsmanship where like that chase between Favreau and that guy who was chasing him was funny because it's like he just pretty much every time just one-upping him. He's like going like thinking on the fly, and especially the sequence when they're on the what is it, the mill or something like that, the water mill.
oh yeah,
And they're like going down the hill
it's
in the village.
basically like Pirates of the Caribbean 2 scene with the water wheel.
Yeah, and what was I say? One thing. Well, one, he is a ugly character,
Yeah,
especially with the one part when he's going in for the kiss of that one demon chick.
yeah.
It's just like it's just like a close up of his lips, and it's like, man, he's ugly. But other than that, like the whole like battle stuff, and actually the one thing I was actually talking to my brother about is how impressive the CG looks.
Yeah,
Some of the like the dragons and whatnot, especially in that like one hell scene that he was in before waking up with the tail.
yeah,
That was like I was like, man, that looks good.
yeah.
And I also sort of agree with him that while it is like this, I would say there is like a Japaneseness to the animation. It sort of like to me it reminds me more of an American-made show than it does a Japanese-made show.
Yeah, I can see that. Uh, let's for wait, I already said I played the game, but having played the game, I really am more impressed that they were actually able to make the first episode so good as it was.
Actually, who is the studio behind this? That like
Mappa, the same studio that did shows like Terran Resonance and
uh,
uh, Robotic
no,
Snows and stuff.
I wonder why it's quality then.
Yeah.
Because
With
I was just wondering like like I hadn't heard anything about Rage of Obama until you mentioned it,
yeah.
and so I was
I
like, so
really
who's like
wasn't expecting anything from it, and I was just completely surprised.
I was
I'm hoping it has like so much potential. I hope it keeps it up.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
was
'Cause
just
it's so that
feeling pretty
oh, go ahead.
ignorant about it. Well, I was feeling pretty ignorant about it because everywhere I read about it, it was just a show based on the game by whoever. And I
Yeah.
was like, so I don't so like I got no information
Well,
except for from JJ that would make me want to watch it.
yeah.
So they gotta work on that
To be
marketing
fair,
a bit.
the card game really doesn't actually have anything in way of story, but yeah, they really need to up that. because basically it's sort of this. It's basically high fantasy, sort of with magic and stuff, but it kind of has this sort of Latin Spanish sort of vibe to the aesthetic I found, and the characters were pretty fun, and of course Favreau, the main character, is just enjoyable as hell.
Yeah.
Uh, I
And
guess
it's just weird. His hair is like a combination of it's like red afro with I don't know what to call like mullet in the back.
yeah,
Like I said, I just really hope this the series maintains the like potential of that first episode because that'd be so disappointing if it didn't.
yeah. Well, I guess since we're on a series by Mappa, another series I watched like last night was what is it? Garo. What's the full name? Garo. Did I write it down? No, I didn't. Oh, here it is. Garo Hono no Kokyun, which is also by Mappa, and admittedly, I did have some problems with it, but honestly think it was very, very interesting of a series. My main problem with it was it's a little too over reliant on its CGI assets and instead of its animation, which actually it does have a pretty cool art style to it. Uh, Not really sure how to explain it, but the character models were pretty not exactly more slender, but sort of interesting to look at. And it's got this medieval, like dark medieval Inquisition and sort of the Witcher-esque sort of story to it. But another problem I had with it is every time it goes into action, it's just like Sentai Power Rangers sort of thing, and it just doesn't fit together. But all that being and one more thing, the opening is probably my most favorite this season and probably the best looking in general visuals from an opening I've ever seen. It's just beautiful as fuck and it's like sex for the eyes.
I watched it when you posted a link to the YouTube video, and it was really interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not the same art style as in the show, but dear God, is it beautiful.
I mean, the main draw with that for me was the animation. The music wasn't bad, but I mean, like it
Yeah,
wasn't. Right? I'm not
it
going to say opening of the
yeah
all-time best music,
yeah
but
not opening. Yeah, song's all right, but it's definitely sounds sort of
but the
90s.
animation, I wonder what technique they used for that,
I don't know, but
because it
like
looked very 90s kind
yeah,
of, or like pre 2000s.
yeah, which I suppose that really helps with the music sounding 90s, but
I'd say it's a plus.
oh crap,
So
somebody's. Well, anyways, and well, apparently the series is based off a live action sort of Sentai show that also goes by Garo, so that kind of explains away a couple things for it, like with the fights and stuff, and apparently Jam Project did the opening for both series. But honestly, it's really interesting. Like I really like how the dark medieval Inquisition sort of torturing and killing those they call the witches and stuff. And funny thing about the episode is like the older male character is naked for like half of it. Like they kind of use some candlesticks, well strategically placed candlesticks is all I'm gonna say. Uh, let's see. Anything else to talk about it? Well, I'm honestly interested in keeping up with it and watching more. Oh, let's see. What else to talk about? Let's see. How about Gurugu Kokori?
Gugure Kokkuri-san.
Yeah. How many of
Yeah,
you watched that?
I did.
Okay. You guys are missing out.
Yeah, don't like my thing.
Well, basically, it's I admit some of the humor in it didn't quite was more quiet than some of the humor didn't really make me laugh out loud, really. But dear God, the series oozes charm like hell.
So my
I
mic was
actually,
accidentally muted when I said I watched it.
Oh,
uh,
okay
we're
then.
just silence because me and JD only thought we were the only two people to watch it.
Yeah, no, during that moment of silence, I was actually talking, just nobody heard me.
So what
Talking
we're
to
saying?
yourself.
Yeah. Um, I was hoping it would like fill the Barakamon void, especially since it's got a really good cast of voice actors and the same male lead as Barakamon.
Yeah, Ono
Um,
Daisuke.
yeah, and he does a great job. Um, but overall, I wasn't too impressed with it.
And I meant the humor. Not all the humor was as impressive as or as funny as say Barakamon, but
Hmm.
I just love the characterization, and especially the main female character, how she's so monotone and stuff, and some of the
Like,
Oh,
jokes.
like
the
I'll
reason I watched the show yesterday was because I found out that that girl is voiced by the same person as Yamada in Working, who is up there in my favorite characters from that show.
she's
So,
hilarious.
like, she's a very strong contender for my favorite character in that show. And so when I found out that she was involved, I checked it out. But like I don't know, because of her sort of monotone thing, it works very well with the character, but it doesn't really bring out what I liked about her work in the other show.
Mm,
Mhm.
So
okay, that makes sense.
I still think she did a good job.
Yeah.
Like
But so I don't know if I'll be keeping it. I'll give it a few more episodes to see if it impresses me a little bit more.
Mm.
But but I'd say it's worth checking out if you are interested. If anyone's on the fence about watching it, I'd say give the first episode a chance.
What show was it again?
what was I gonna say? Like my personal opinion is that well, I'll admit it could get quiet in episodes, but when I think the humor hits, it really made me laugh. It was like sort of very like guttural laugh. I was like laughing pretty hard at the stuff, especially the like I said, I mentioned this on Twitter. To have a 5-year-old question the ethics or the morality of euthanasia was probably like I saw that like I realized what she said and I just like started laughing my ass off at it because it was like probably it's just like so out of nowhere and it's like a 5-year-old shouldn't be asking that. And
I
then
like it.
the part when she summoned Kokure or whatever his name is out of the shower and like he's talking about like the whole you could like take a bath with me, just her slowly picking up the phone, calling the police, and then the police actually taking him away, which
Yeah.
That
is
surprised me. I was thinking it would pull
I
like a
love that.
normal anime thing and
Yeah,
just cut to the next
yeah.
scene.
I love that part 'cause he's like
Um,
so confused. It's like, hey, what are you doing? And you just see him, you see him like slowing him into the car, and the one part when he's about to hang himself because he has like no friends, he's like, "You're my friend, right?" And what's her name? Kohina.
Yeah, Colleen.
She's like, is that a threat? So I'm definitely keeping it, and I'm probably gonna say along with Inou-Battle will probably be the two like main comedies
Yeah.
I follow this season.
Yeah. I'd
I was
say.
I was really impressed with the Battle.
Yeah. Let's.
It wasn't actually before we move on to that.
Yeah, I still want
I
to talk
loved
about
the yeah
this bit.
I loved the ending.
Oh
It's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
catchy.
That
And just the overall
ending
aesthetic of it
was
is pretty much like
just
Saturday Night Fever,
yeah.
or
Oh,
like pretty much like
Great.
disco essentially.
Yeah, and
I,
how Kyohina changes over to like a disco's chick outfit,
Mm.
and all the characters that eventually were also sort of disco suits. It's
Yeah.
just fun.
What was the name of the show again?
Guguru.
Gugure Kokkuri-san. Stranger just posted that to you on Twitter. So
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
and one thing
I did.
another funny moment. Trying to remember. The lightsaber battle is pretty
Oh,
funny.
oh yeah, yeah, the lightsaber.
The whole thing, Kohina remarking that the guy was stalking her
Yeah.
since she was like younger was pretty funny. And I also just found the whole her like nailing a voodoo doll to the shrine is like the most like completely absurd. But yeah, definitely, at least for me, definitely a keeper.
Yeah. Same. I think it's right now my second favorite series. I would say if Goro, or however you say it, had fixed some of its problems, I would have probably switched over to that one as my second favorite. But so far, I'm definitely giving it to Guguru. Nah. Anyways, moving on. Inou-Battle. So you were,
Trigger.
yeah. I will say if you're going in expecting a kill, you'll be a little disappointed. But otherwise, honestly, it was pretty fun.
Although,
Yeah.
if you go in expecting to see some life fiber boxing gloves, you won't be disappointed.
Nope.
That was awesome. I just want to say
Yeah.
I really liked that.
Yeah, me
Actually,
too.
um, uh, the one thing I loved, and it actually has potential to get irritating depending on how much the character does it. I love that the main character is just like this completely, almost all the time, Chunibyo.
Yeah.
He's the true Dark Flame Master.
Yeah.
And the one thing,
His
especially
power
that when they're
is
the
so
Dark Flame
freaking useless.
is like the one part that I loved was how he's saying when he gets the powers taken away from him from that girl by that girl, he's like, "What will I do?" It's like what am I gonna do? I said good. I always said good morning to Dark Flame. He's like, "Good morning, Dark Flame." I always said good night to Dark Flame. Good night, Dark Flame. It's like the biggest. He's like the biggest loser and like the biggest jackass on the show.
Okay, I just want to point out my only like this didn't bother me at all, but it did stick out to me is how do you find out that your power is to steal people's power without actually doing it first? Like
I
how did
don't
she
know.
know? If that was the first
Actually,
time she did it, how did she know?
Maybe,
I don't know. I
maybe,
don't know.
maybe
Maybe it'll
she,
explain it somewhere down the road, but
Anime logic.
yeah.
maybe,
And that's
Trigger
sort
maybe,
of the thing.
logic.
It's that's pretty much you have to have the power of suspension of disbelief essentially.
Yeah.
And the same thing applies to why that little girl's in their school,
Yeah.
or like why she's allowed to attend the club when she's probably not even the same age as them.
Mm. I mean,
So that's something that sort of
yeah.
confused me, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I mean, I suppose Haganai kind of explained that away in its own way, but not see how it doesn't really seem I don't see how they will in this one. At least not
Mm.
now.
I thought the little girl was some teacher's daughter or something,
Mm.
and that she was just like attending there just
I
for
mean,
roles.
I can think of reasons that she would be there.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, they haven't explained it, and maybe they won't, maybe they will. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just gonna enjoy it because even though
Yeah.
it wasn't the most amazing premiere I've ever seen, it was a lot of fun. So
Yeah, I thought when I saw the Ando with his dark flames and such, I just thought myself, yeah, that's exactly what I would react to if I got superpowers, no matter how lame. And
oh
actually,
yeah,
Oh,
no,
And
I mean,
here's the thing: there's right now it's like practically useless. But I'm guaranteeing they find some use for it. It's like probably some
even
important power down the road.
even if it is completely useless in combat, it's awesome.
Uh,
It's
yeah,
still it's like if all of a sudden I could conjure up a flame of blackness, I wouldn't be mad. You know, I wouldn't I wouldn't be disappointed. I'd be like, "Whoa, this is like the coolest thing ever. I'm never gonna be bored again." I mean,
actually,
sure, I would rather be able to manipulate time and space and whatever like the other people's have, but you know what? If I got stuck with the dark flame, that wouldn't bother me at all.
I forgot to mention that the two funny parts was when the one girl comes in, the more like I guess airheaded one, and the main character does the Chunibyo thing, and she winds up calling the hospital. And then when they meet the girl who can steal the powers, he pretty much just like goes along with his whole idea because he just like blurted out, "I was like, haha, you've been spying on us," and she
His
pretty much
Chunibyo
was the
paid
entire
off.
time.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's his true superpower. Is
He
is
thought she was
Chunibyo deduction.
he thought she was from the organization.
basically.
I swear though, I think I was the only one who didn't really like the first episode at all. Like it was okay, but like it really didn't really strike anything interesting with me at all.
Yeah, I can see that.
It just felt very mediocre and forgettable. But since it's Trigger, I'm gonna give it at
Well,
least a couple more
To
episodes
be
to try.
fair, I really wouldn't have had any interest at all in it if it didn't have Trigger's name attached to it in the first place.
You know, I think I would be just because I find the premise of these people get superpowers and then nothing happens. I think that's really interesting.
It's a nice
Um,
little twist on the school slice of life.
yeah. And also, like, it's a nice little twist on like the school slice of life that turns into some shonen fighting thing, where like I have the feeling like there's probably not going to be a villain in this show. It's probably just going to be a
Well,
very episodic.
Well, there was
Uh,
that one guy who was hanging upside down from a tree.
Yeah, the thing is,
yeah,
with that guy,
but
with that guy, I have a feeling he's just gonna be complete, wind up being a complete idiot.
he's
Yeah.
gonna be a
Yeah.
newspaper reporter and nobody believes what he says.
He's
Or at
average,
least-
like he'll be like the main character and just sort of be sort of useless.
I mean, well, maybe they'll bring in some villain at some point, but I hope for as long as possible. Like I don't want it to last for so long that it gets boring, but I hope for that as long as it's entertaining, that they just kind of have their little hijinks and silly interactions with the powers and not really have some overarching conflict. Because I think that was what interested me in the premise of what would happen if all of a sudden you had superpowers, but
Did
then that
absolutely
was
nothing
it.
with them.
That was it. Like now you have superpowers, but you have nothing to do with them. What would you wind up doing with them to pass the time? I think that's a really interesting premise, and I want to see how they execute that. Where I think it could be either really, really good or really, really bad, depending how they play their cards.
Well,
Whereas
the
I
thing
think,
about it is, I think it would have been better as like purely slice of life. But what happened was like just in the first episode, they already had to fight a battle against another student who had powers. Like if it had been just like purely slice of life with them having random powers that they used during it, I feel like it would have been more interesting. But as it was, it kind of like didn't really do what it set out to do.
I agree. I mean, I don't think it detracted, but I think it would have um, been very interesting even if they didn't have that. I kind of enjoyed the battle amongst themselves though. I liked that because I mean if you could get together a group of people with superpowers, you would totally have a battle. There's no way to avoid it.
Yeah.
But see what I think, just my prediction that or my wish that happens is this student council president who has the power to choose power to steal powers or something. I'm hoping that how it goes is she just winds up becoming more embedded into their club and getting into their
Well,
hijinks.
she
I would
is
say
in the
that I would say
closing,
yeah, I would say
so
the
I imagine
credits.
she will be.
Yeah, I would say that I'll agree with JJ. The credits seem to indicate that's what's going to happen. So yeah.
Mm.
But also, I was going to say, uh, I sort of think there will be some like small overarching plot, but I don't think it'll be like the main thing. I think it will overall just be more like slice of life-ish.
Yeah.
Just them just doing random stuff with their powers.
That's what I'm hoping for, because I mean, there has to be some sort of conflict to keep things
Right, like I said,
interesting.
I have a feeling,
Right.
I have a feeling that the guy's powers, the dark flame, is going to be used for like some like critical moment. To me, it only makes sense for it to be like there's a reason he has to have those powers.
It's gonna be end up being
They'll
the
need to
most
make
important of
pancakes, and they
all.
don't have a stove.
But
Once again,
that's not
it was
even.
lukewarm. It was lukewarm.
Yeah,
What are you gonna do with lukewarm fire on a pancake? Warm it up
decoration.
slightly.
Yes.
He could be the human
Pre-made
microwave.
pancakes that need to be microwaved.
To
He'll never
room
need a microwave
temperature.
again. And I mean, at least it's a cool party trick.
Impress your friends. Oh wait, all of your friends have superpowers, or rather,
Yeah.
better superpowers than you.
He just has to find a normal person and
I think Tomoyo's is my personal favorite. But with the manipulating time.
Oh, yeah.
But the girl who has powers over elements, that didn't surprise me too much until they said light, because if she can control light, that's kind of you can almost be God if you have control over light. So because you can at least create an illusion of anything you want or become invisible and do whatever. And depending on how she can control it, maybe she'll be able to move faster than it. I don't know. It opens up a whole lot of scenarios. The fact that she can not only control the main 4 earth, water, fire, wind, that she has light as well. That's like a big plus that they can use really interesting for really interesting situations if they actually do so, which I hope they do.
Well, I mean, aside from the main character, like all of them just have like godly overpowered superpowers. Like there's potential there for them to just do insane things with it, like the one who can change anything back to its origin. Like that's just ridiculous.
I feel like she's gonna accidentally turn someone into a baby. I mean, back to your origin, right? I mean,
No, she'll be turning them back to freaking hydrogen and oxygen or helium, whatever.
that's pretty godlike too.
Yeah. Well, anything else we want to talk about Inou-Battle?
Well,
No?
not much.
Well, I think I'm going to stop this recording and check it to make sure it's alright, and then we'll continue. Welcome back again to Divergence Cast after listening to that pleasant intermission music. Now let's see, what will we talk about next? I know, how about Amagi Brilliant Park?
Now,
Oh yes.
I need to mention the most important thing first. Kaio and Annie literally had nudity in the first episode of one of their series.
And kissing.
This is, oh my goodness,
But
like the world no
that-
longer makes sense.
the butt. It was a
Kaio
good
Annie
butt.
butt,
It was a glorious butt. It was a butt that would make Dandy cry.
ass of the season.
Yep,
On it right now.
butt of this season. Second place goes to Garo for the the older main character's butt.
Okay.
That's funny. I found it amusing. I think Stranger had tweeted it out. He was like, "Oh my God, nudity in the Kiyoani show." And it's like, or full-on nudity in the Kiyoani show. I just found that funny.
Yeah.
I posted that on Reddit, and it was the most upvoted post in the episode discussion thread.
Yeah.
And
Like,
I
it was
haven't.
just,
Go ahead.
I'm not sure. Have any of you watched Full Metal Panic or at least Fumofu?
no.
No.
Okay, truly you don't know the glorious Bonta-kun because the one that they had in there was pretty close to him. Just ridiculous, over the top rodent outfit creature.
It was a walking copyright violation.
Oh, you're talking about the mascot.
Yeah. Because in Fumofu, but sort of in Full Metal Panic universe, the that mascot was the mascot of a different theme park. But in Fumofu, the main character Sasuke Sakura, who is kind of this crazy over military guy, and who is pretty much clueless about everything else, basically commandeers the suit, and the suit basically takes on his same scars, and he basically does ridiculous, like, kicking guys in their balls repeatedly.
Oh god.
It's just
Um,
absurdity all around. He basically becomes Batman in a furry suit.
I
That sounds
want
boring.
I want to point something out that I just noticed.
Hmm.
Is the main character's in this show's name is how do you say it? It looks like it's read as Kanye, and the queen is Latifah.
I think when I saw there's a something
we
on
got-
Anime News. There was something on Anime News Network about it. I saw the name of the character. I was like, that doesn't really match up with the rest of the show.
So we got Kanye and Queen Latifah anime style.
Yeah, I really like the part when the main character and the mascot were fighting, especially because the mascot goes into the fighting stance.
Yeah.
I like how the main character was he just kind of asked the right questions. Like he just like when Isuzu is her name, I think, right? Or Sento. She just pulls out that
Oh.
musket gun out of nowhere, and he's like, "Where did that gun come from?"
Oh, and,
And then-
that one kid commenting on how she had blue and white stripes and it was like standard equipment. It's that really
Tsundere
everything
standard equipment.
Yeah, everything
Oh.
about this series is making me think of Full Metal Panic, which
Mm.
is good since it's by the same author.
And also when the mascot talked, he was like, "It's
Yeah.
talking."
That's
So
something Bonta-kun never did. Well, I guess he had Sasuke inside, but yeah, that just surprised me so much.
I also liked how that attraction with the rats, how all the people who were really into it looked like hardcore survival game club members.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a crossover.
That would be awesome.
I would love if they crossed over with Full Metal Panic at some point.
What about a crossover with Savagevu? Jeez.
Well, there's no point. You wouldn't have that since they're not like KyoAni or same author, but
I would say just like KyoAni do it anyway.
You know what? You know what? Fan fiction will make it happen.
fan fiction will make everything happen.
By the way, on the like Kanye and Latifah earlier, apparently Reddit says Sento Isuzu's name, like Isuzu, can be written as 50, so it's 50 Sento.
Okay, I really
So
like
are all the names just puns on like real people? And
Puns on rappers.
Oh god,
So,
that
who-
series,
so-
in a
so
theme
what's-
park of
what's
all
Moth
things.
that
relate to?
one series about witches or something a while back. Remember how one of the side characters in the first episode was like Obama or something? It was a couple seasons ago, and it was like the main character got called a princess by the main female character, and it's a bunch of witches. I can't think of its name off the top of my head. It had a catchy closing. Fuck. I think you watched it, Alex, but I can't remember its name.
Witchcraft Works.
Yeah, Witchcraft Works. Because I remember, like, in the first episode, there was this side character that beats up the main character called Obama. And it was
I can't remember. It's been a
Yeah.
while. So
Wait, so we've got this show, and the three main characters are rappers. We got Queen Latifah, Kanye, and 50 Cent.
made by
and then
KyoAni with a nudie scene.
and then Muse. Muse
I
is
have no clue what's even going on anymore. It's like a new era in anime. On the
This
new
is
I mean,
Nancy
frontier.
they're like trying to. I mean, it's like with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and rock bands. Main
Yeah.
villain, AC/DC.
I think there is AC/DC, either stand or character eventually.
Yeah, ACDC was one of the masters who of the Stone Mask.
Oh yeah.
It
It
was
was ACDC and Cars.
Oh
and
yeah.
Wham. It was
Whammoo.
AC/DC,
Oh,
Cars,
God.
and Wham. Whammoo.
Dan of Steel.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing.
And then Chaika has car names:
Oh yeah.
Acura, Gillette.
Gillette, the best a man can get. Yeah. Well, I guess since we started off, have you watched the latest Chaika episode?
Is it out?
Yeah, it's out.
I haven't
Nah.
seen it.
I was just watching it right before this, so well, it's I don't think really much of anything special really happened in it. It was just Chaika facing off with another magic user hero who had another piece of the Emperor guy. But
So a
and
pretty standard episode.
yeah, standard. I mean, I love how much world building is in that series as well. But it's probably not really high on my seasons list as other series are. But yeah, it's. Oh, one thing I really wanted to comment about this season is a lot of the shows this season are like high fantasy because you got stuff like Log Horizon and Garo and Rage of Bahamut, Lord Marksman, and what was the other? Oh, Seven Deadly Sins. So it's just you got all these fantasy series in this season.
That's actually one of the weirdest things. I was thinking about that last night. How many fantasy series are this year,
Yeah.
or this fall, or like
Yeah,
right now?
yeah. It's interesting, especially since I tend to be a fantasy nerd sometimes. But let's see. I suppose since I mentioned it, have any of you watched the Lord Marksman and Vanadis series?
I did.
Nope.
Yeah, that was Ichi.
Eh,
It
I didn't like. I remember you were talking about the fan like survey. Like, apparently one of the big criticisms of that series or the first episode, is a lot of people said that it was like very fan servicey, but I didn't really think the same. I actually think
yeah.
you know
I wouldn't say
it's
it's
just more so. It's
bad
just more so like you
Ichi.
said. It's more. It's like there's a lot of busty female
Yeah.
characters in there. Is all. That's all I think of it. To be honest.
There was that one scene with her bathing and stuff, but other than that,
But
it's
no, but actually, it's sort of me and my brother were actually talking about that. We sort of agreed with each other in that it was actually sort of refreshing to see her, her being a general,
yeah,
actually act like one, saying I'm not going to be embarrassed about it.
yeah.
So that's actually the one thing that we thought was different enough where it didn't
Yeah.
really bother us.
Yeah, I actually do like the series a little bit because of like how the main character is an archer and everyone seems to comment on him because of how good his skills at using a bow are, rather than it's like you're so cool because you're the main character, but really it's you're cool because you can shoot a guy in the foot who's running away, and when you can't clearly shoot at him from that distance normally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty much hacks archery right there.
yeah,
Aimbot.
Like I said, like I wouldn't say it's like anything like super special. It's, if
yeah,
anything, it's sort of going to be like that side series that I
yeah.
watch this
Just
fall. But I
mainly
had a good
filler.
time. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had a good
So
time watching it.
speaking of fan service, the Fruit of Grisaia.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
That just had plot and plot.
yes.
Except it actually had plot.
Yeah, like I swear that was the premiere of the season for me and has very serious potential to end up being my anime of the year.
I think it could. I think it has a lot of potential. I think for me, it could go either way depending on how. I don't know anything about the visual novel this is coming from, so so it could either turn out to be really good or really bad for me, uh, just based on how some things are executed. Um,
I'm
but
hoping it.
but the first episode, I think it did a lot of things right.
So what are we saying right now?
Yeah, I'm hoping that it'll be Akuma no Riddle done right. You know, that people actually die.
Yeah. So I went
Yeah,
into
like
this.
what were we saying?
You go. Well, I went into this expecting it to be the next Serakaya Kingdomo, especially based on some of the screenshots I saw and the overall premise of this guy
Not even
arrives as the
close.
first male student. So I was expecting like a maybe somewhat subpar Serakaya Kingdomo, and that was a lot more like a way better version of Akuma no Riddle.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, so much better already. Like
Exactly.
all the girls seem like really interesting so far. The main character seems like he's not just gonna be like a kind of one note oblivious dude.
Are you what they call a tsundere?
Oh my goodness, it is like so genre savvy already. Like it knows exactly what harems contain and how to subvert them. Like she was trying to be a tsundere and being so bad at it. He saw right through it immediately.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty great. That was probably my favorite, one of my favorite scenes, except for like the last minute, which is when stuff got real.
Yeah.
That last
So
minute just took it like straight through the roof. Like
yeah,
it,
if that hadn't happened, if I hadn't seen that, I wouldn't be nearly as interested in this show. It would probably be on my list of like maybe drop if that last minute hadn't happened. But then I was DMing you on Twitter when I was watching, and I was just feeling sort of like, okay, for most of it, like it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not the best thing I've ever seen. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What?
My thought exactly too.
yeah,
I
that
thought
ending.
it looked like it was building up like a harem anime or something. But
I
then
mean, it still looks like a harem, but it's looking like it's gonna be a dark one.
yeah.
Like everything was just all happy and just like full of fan service and all that, and then just all of a sudden he's pulling a sniper rifle out from under his bed. They find out that people are lockpicking, and oh my goodness, everything's just took a dark turn there at the end.
Like
I'm really
this is a genre that I have pretty much zero interest in, except for this show because they just dropped a few really interesting things like the lock being picked and the ending scene. They gave just enough to make me want to keep on watching, even though it's really otherwise I couldn't care less.
I mean, even without the scene at the end, it was still like delivering like some really good humor and
Oh yeah,
characters.
I thought it was entertaining. It was definitely something that I would like consider keeping, but that ending scene is what like really shot it up for me as to like one of the is probably the top premiere I've seen so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's just head and shoulders above anything else I've seen so far. Like I was just start straight up fanboying after the first episode.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm
Alan,
making
Alan,
sure not.
Cause now I want to know what happens next.
mm,
Oh, this wait between episodes is killing me already.
And I mean, like a lot of times with these harem genre things, I think it's just really dumb. And when I read the premise, I thought it was really dumb, and I really didn't want to watch it at all. But you said that if I watched it, you would watch Fate Zero, so I was like, okay. And then I came away with my mind blown.
You're like,
So
oh my goodness, why haven't I watched this already?
no, I kind of like I wish you hadn't told me about it and just let a few more episodes come out before telling me to watch it, just so that I could marathon through them.
Yeah, you said it like right after you hate me for making you watch it.
Now I have to
Just
wait. I have to wait a week between episodes now. Whereas
gotta deal with the pain.
I could have been blissfully ignorant for a good few months and then came to this later and been amazed.
Becoming,
good point.
becoming a magical girl is suffering man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that premiere was just absolutely top notch. Like I'm refusing to read anything about it. I'm not going to discussion threads. I'm not clicking on any of the comments about it or nothing. I just want to go through it blind.
The only discussion thread about it that I looked at was about how many episodes it has, and or as it's going to be. Now it doesn't have anything listed as far as I know, but it looks like it's going to be a two-core show, which makes me very happy if they can keep up the good work.
Yeah, I'm
So
hoping they delve like into the backstories of all the girls and the main character. And, like it legitimately has potential to become one of my favorite anime of all time. Like going up to like spot like 4 or 5 on my list so far.
Mm,
So long as they manage to maintain that quality throughout.
the only thing that threw me off was the widescreen or like the uber widescreen.
Yeah, the widescreen was kind of weird. I thought they were about to do that with Inou-Battle at first too, but they ended
Yeah,
up changing it back to
Yeah,
normal.
that
freaking
was
out. I was like, did Japan all of a sudden get really wide TVs?
yeah that was I was really as far as Inou-Battle was concerned, that was really throwing me off.
And
It
then
it didn't look right at all to me.
the opening came, and I was very relieved when it was normal widescreen, not panoramic.
But yeah, I mean that super widescreen was kind of weird at first, but I kind of got used to it by the end.
By the end of the episode, you were used to it, but like it did throw me off.
Yeah, it kind of gives it its own unique little flair too. Like
Yeah,
it seems more dramatic that way. Like I
and
don't really know how to describe it.
I'm glad it's the only show that's done that so far, because it really freaked me out when I thought Battle did that too. So
Yeah,
It's like,
it
dear
looked like the
God,
season of
widescreen.
widescreen at first.
yeah, that scared the crap out of me.
Mhm.
Because it looks weird. It looks weird, but I feel like I feel like they'll use it in some way. They were also, the animation was really good.
What studio is it?
I think it's 8-bit, which hasn't done anything else that I've watched.
Hmm.
But it really it was very Shaft-esque, and I really like Shaft. So
Yeah, that's my favorite studio. So if something reminds me of that, it's really good.
Did you happen to tilt your head while saying that?
I did.
Yeah.
I did the head tilt, because it was, I don't know, it had the sort of feel a little bit. They didn't have any head tilt, but the characters are designed reminded me a bit of Monogatari,
Oh,
and um
like of course it doesn't help that one of the characters pulled out a freaking box cutter on the main character.
and then they have Senju Gahara 2.0.
Yeah,
Like that was very, um especially at her voice sounds similar too. Um, I don't think the voice actors related at all, but the way that the lines were delivered sounded very, um, Senju Gahara.
yeah. I'm checking right now to see if it was Chiwasedo or not,
Um,
and don't look like it.
nope.
So yeah, I would look up who it actually is, but like I said, I'm on complete blackout for finding out what happens on that. Oh yeah. Anyhow, now would probably be a good time to mention Fate Stay Night since you said that a second ago.
Oh yeah, I think I accidentally said Fate Zero. Um, but yeah, the Fate Stay Night premiere, or episode 0.
Twice as long as a regular episode.
I ain't even mad. I thought it was really good.
It was basically mimicking what happened at the beginning of Fate Zero with that long episode.
Yeah. I heard the episode 1 is going to be long as well, but I think that'll be cool.
So wait,
So
are all the episodes going to be an hour long?
no,
No.
the way that
So it's not
Fate
going to be
has
another
been,
Katanagatari?
no, the way Fate Zero opened up was it had a 47-minute long first episode, and then everything else was just the normal 23 minutes.
Okay.
And that first
Um,
episode of Fate Zero was basically a huge info dump.
Mm.
yeah, it was a bit overwhelming, but this one was a bit more manageable information wise and character build up. So
Yeah, I've seen people talking on Reddit about how it's actually better to watch Fate Stay Night before Fate Zero.
this one,
Er,
Yeah, yeah,
like
because
this Fate Stay Night, I don't know, because maybe that's just me being weird about chronological order with Fate Zero happening first, but because this takes place 10 years after Fate Zero. So
well, apparently Fate Zero was written with readers of Fate Stay Night in mind, so like a lot of plot developments and stuff are supposedly ruined in Fate Zero if you watch that first.
hmm I'll have to look into that, because I did
well,
watch it first,
I
because I
think
heard
I think
Fate
there
Stay
are
Night
a
wasn't
lot
very
of
good.
because I watched the original series. I haven't checked out the new episode of the new series yet, but uh, there was a lot of mentions to I haven't watched Fate Zero, but there are a lot of mentions to like the main character in that one and different stuff about it, but it doesn't really. Well, I'm not sure. But yeah, there are mentions to Fate Zero in it, and a lot of character development, if I remember right.
So it's also done by Ufotable or Ufotable, however you say that studio's name. And I
Ufotable.
think Ufotable. I think they do a really good job. So okay. Also, um, did you notice Ryogo Shiki with light hair in like the first couple minutes? They just like took the exact same character design as Shiki from Garden of Sinners and gave her different color hair, different color eyes, threw her in there.
As which character?
Uh, the one with like she had like coffee. She was the girl on the archery team
uh,
who
I
was like the first character introduced at the
well,
school.
she was in the original series, so actually she was pretty much the secondary character in it. So I think she would have come. How old is Garden of Sinners, anyways?
Hmm, newer than Fate Stay Night.
Okay, then
So,
yeah. So it might be the other way around.
but I did see it. I did see it
Yeah.
first. Or what? How old is Garden of Sinners?
I
Uh,
I know Fate Stay Night is like 2006 or 2005, or maybe that's the remake.
um, Fate Stay Night, the original was 2006, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and Garden of Sinners is 2007.
Okay.
So
So,
yeah, it came out before Kara no Kyaka.
Mm.
hold on, where is? But they
Yeah.
really like I can send pictures in the chat or
Yeah.
something. It's
Well,
really they just took the same design.
the thing about her is, in at least in the Studio Dean version, she was actually a better character, more interesting character than the main character all around. Have they introduced the main character yet in the new series? He's or
Um,
chaired
Not yet.
currently. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
he was in
had
there,
a
but
very
Yeah.
brief appearance, but
we're talking
didn't
about
really.
Ayako meets Suzuri,
Yeah, I think.
No,
I think.
he's
Is who?
talking about the one that Kiritsugu adopted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was talking about Mitsuzuri is she's the one I was talking about who looks like Shiki.
Oh,
And
the
and I just did a Google image search and she looks a lot more like Shiki in this new run than she does anywhere else.
mm,
Probably because it was
So,
made by the same company made
yeah.
Kara no Kyaka.
Yeah, but like all the other illustrations of her look are like distinguishable where like I wouldn't see them and be like, "Oh, that's Shiki," you know. Um but like when I was watching I was like, "The heck is Shiki doing here?"
yeah. Well, in general, both her and the archer guy I thought were more interesting than Saber and what's his face, the main character. Personally, uh, main character is he's kind of at least in the Studio Dean one, he's kind of had that overly I'm I'm a good guy sort of main character-ish thing, and he was
Well,
out. If I remember right, in the well, I don't know if you.
they are covering a different path
Okay.
from the visual novel in this.
Yeah, this one's called
The
Unlimited Blade Works.
So, and I haven't played the visual novel, but I have a friend who is knowledgeable on it, and he likes this path the best. And the main character does have a different personality in it,
Okay, good.
so you might like him a little bit more in this run if
Yeah.
you watch it.
Because the thing that was my biggest issue in the Studio Dean one was he did stuff like, "Oh no, Saber, you shouldn't fight," and he go like he takes a hit from the barbarian or not berserker character who I won't spoil for you, but and instead of having her actually fight him for some stupid reason, it's like you shouldn't fight even though you're technically that's entirely your purpose. And
Yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't do something stupid like that in this one.
yeah,
Um,
Yeah, they would
But
take a nosedive for Fate Stay Night for me, just like Fate Zero did at the end.
Yeah.
see, I liked the way Fate Zero ended better than you did, I guess.
Yeah, I hated it like so bad. It was like they tried to do kind of like an end of Evangelion type thing, and it didn't work.
I don't know. I personally liked it. I rated the second half of Fate Zero higher, um, but that's just because I liked the backstory sequences a lot. So
Did
where
they
they went into some characters' pasts.
did they ever go very much into Saber's past in Zero?
Yeah, they went entire past quite a bit.
Okay, then I think they did the same in the original run for Studio Dean, though I'm not sure if they will for this one as well or not.
Yeah, if you're on the fence about it, I'd say check out the first or the
Yeah.
Zero episode. It's very Tosika centric.
Yeah.
So it's got her and Archer
Yeah. Well, I'm
instead
free
of
the
the main
weekend,
character.
so I'll probably check out any simulcasts I missed. This, then again, I've been keeping up with a lot of them pretty well. But yeah, I'll probably check it out either tomorrow or later on tonight.
Hmm.
All right. Anything else we want to talk about Fate/Stay Night?
The animation was really good during the fight scene.
Hmm.
That's all.
But then when is the animation ever just not absolutely beautiful in a Ufotable production?
This is true. That's true.
Like every single one of the Akira no Kyokai movies, Fate Zero, the visuals are just always just right on spot.
I would say the Garden of Sinner movies, uh the aside from 5 centimeters per second and Garden of Words, I would say the Garden of Sinners movies are probably the best animated things I've ever seen, which is extremely impressive considering they're 7 years old.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
I would also put the Haruhi movie in there.
Yeah. I yeah, definitely
There was just
Haruhi.
that was Kaiwani's best animation, I think, and they've released some pretty visually stunning stuff.
Hmm.
But that was just like the crown jewel of it.
Well, speaking of animation, hey Alex, what did you think of World Trigger?
Pretty uninteresting.
Let's just focus on first. Good God, that animation is just bad.
Uh, like I said, like I said to you before the show, like I normally don't really give a crap about animation so long as I can enjoy a show. But uh, it was noticeable that compared like everything else that came out in this has come out so far in this fall, it was pretty low quality.
Yeah, yeah, it's this is the
Which
studio.
with
Yeah,
I think it's the same. Is it not the same studio that makes One Piece and
yeah,
Kosugi?
yeah,
Like
and that's
for what shocked me is that this is the premiere of an episode and it just sort of looked
well.
lousy.
To be fair, they're spreading themselves between like 5 other shows this season.
Eh, eh.
But even then, dear God, that was just awful.
Was the animation worse than Sega Girls?
Yes.
Oh,
Like,
oh my god,
yeah,
no.
if you just zoom out on the like if you just zoom out a little on the characters in any scene, the animation just drops drastically, just bad. And the CGI for the monsters is just
It's pretty much
probably
that monster just looked like a white lump with legs, pretty much.
yeah,
And
and
it's like I was like, this is pretty crappy. I was like, I had to, I pretty much had to do my best to sit through the entire episode because I was tempted to
yeah.
just stop halfway
I was too, but
because I was just like
I
so
will admit I did like
bland.
the white-haired kid, his personality. I liked it enough
There
to
was
give
to
it.
me there was really nothing special
But
about him.
yeah, I'm probably going to drop it after like another episode.
I don't intend to watch it anymore. Just especially like I don't know about you how you felt about some of the school kids and like the main characters just felt
Yeah.
extremely cliched.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So I was like, man, this is just not. This is sort of just a lot worse than I was expecting it to be. And not to mention that the whole thing of like clothes, it just
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah,
feels
that
stupid. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, that was just why would you need a transformation scene for that? If that's you could have
uh,
just put on that suit. it wouldn't have been as fast, but dear God, there were zippers on it. What was the point of going through a transformation scene?
And also, the one thing that was sort of another thing with the animation is that there was a lot of use of, and especially in the beginning, to when they were trying to explain the story,
Yeah, a lot of
or
still
origin,
scenes.
a lot of still screen use, and it's like you could tell this is pretty much low priority to them.
Yeah.
And I don't know what other shows are working on, but
I think it's just like One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, what else? That was a magical girl one. What was it? Anyways, and
Sailor Moon.
no, wait, what? No, oh yeah, Sailor Moon, and what else? I think there was another magical girl series, but I'm not. I know I had a friend
Manova.
who was talking about it earlier, and they were like spread out a couple series.
I mean,
and that just
Toei animation has never been that good
Yeah,
on visuals.
yeah. I mean, I'm really questioning how they made Kyoskiga, because Kyoskiga
that
looked
actually looked really nice.
really
Yeah.
good, but just like I tried to watch Majin Bone like either last season or the season before, and yeah, just I I'm not
There's
seeing.
like I said, I'm not really an animation buff, but the one part, especially when the like bullies were running away, is like so it looks really bad.
Yeah,
And like I said, so like, pretty much the combination of just not being that good looking of a show, and then also being just as a concept in its entirety sort of uninteresting. I have no intention of going back to that.
yeah, pretty much. I'll
I would
give it
say
like one more
I'm
episode and then drop it.
for me, Seven Deadly Sins more than enough fills the quota for shonen,
Yeah.
for like my shonen series.
Yeah, let's move on to Seven Deadly Sins. Personally, I tried reading the manga before, and my opinion is more or less the same in that the episode it feels like shonen with all the dumb, but not much in way of the fun for me.
Mm.
Yeah. Uh, I will say I was sort of liking it a little more near the end, but I was pretty much fully prepared to drop it until I saw that one giant S character in the credits, and now I'm like, fuck, I have to figure out what that's about.
She's obviously, I think, it seems like she might. If you noticed in the wanted poster, they had a person who looked like her, so I think she's one of the sins.
Yeah, she's one of the Sins because she's one of the main characters, and it looks like all of the
Yeah,
Sins are going to be the main characters.
yeah,
But
like it wasn't it wasn't the show wasn't perfect by any means, but I actually think it seems like it's sort of interesting concept for a show.
yeah,
You know, fan service aside, like
yeah,
it seems like
yeah,
to me, I had fun
thing.
watching that first episode, especially with the giant like traveling pig at the end. It sort of
Yeah.
reminded me
Oh,
like
that pig is probably one of the most unnecessary mascots in existence. Like it's a
either way.
talking pig, and everyone's like, "Hey, is that a talking pig?"
And it's just like no one was really marking on it. It's like I was like, oh, talking pig, but who cares? But like I said, I thought that like, especially by the end, I think I'm gonna stick with this series.
Yeah, I am too, if for no other reason to figure out what is up with that giant female character. Just,
She's a Titan.
yeah, basically. She's about the same. Honestly, it seems
Female
like
Titan.
basically, yeah. I was making comparison to Gulliver's Travels, and it's funny because somebody made a comment on that image I posted. It's like, why is she normal size while everyone is small? And to be fair, from the image, you might not have been able to tell.
Yeah, I think that's sort of one of the things that sort of confused me because like I don't know. Here's like, and I knew the character's normal size, and they're in that part with her, and then and even the giant pig that they're traveling on is with them. She's like the same size, but it just didn't dawn on me like when I was watching the credits. Like everything is just fine here,
Yeah, and
and then
right
I just
before that scene in the credits is like they're all running, and she's sort of bigger than the others, but I thought it was like an optical illusion or something. But then when I see that scene, I was like, whoa, why is she so big? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Anything else?
Oh, Radow watched the first episode of Parasyte.
Oh yes.
Oh yes, that one.
So
Yeah,
what did you think, man?
it was gross, but in a sense, it not exactly horrifying or anything, but it was kind of disturbing. You know, do you know the premise of the?
Yeah. The, for those
Yeah.
of you who don't know, the premise is basically a guy has like, is it like a symbiote in his arm that turns his
Yeah.
hand into an
Some,
alien?
yeah, some kind of alien parasite that at first tried to eat his brain, but then it failed, and then it just decided to get stuck in his arm, and then it's kind of bit weird, kind of weird in how that parasite thing is. It's well, it's ugly as hell, but it's also kind of, I don't know, likable or not adorable. I don't know the proper word. But then again,
I
yeah, but
think it's like cute ugly, maybe?
yeah, something like that. Kind of, plus it has that very kind of weird BB. It sounds like your typical shonen mascot character, you know, like some kind of a kid sidekick. But but yeah, there like with scenes like that in between, and then there comes those other alien parasites that have that god awfully horrifying looking, disturbing body horror. Yeah, all those teeth and stuff. So it's a bit of a wild ride. I have no idea what to actually think about it, but
I hope the
I actually
penis hand makes it into it.
yeah. Unfortunately, there were no penis hands. I guess they had to have some standards for the anime.
Yeah, they draw the line right there. Like they draw all the parasites eating everyone's faces, but no penis hands. It's
Yeah.
just too much.
Well, but the parasite hand did grab some boobs.
Oh god.
You know, like the guy, the main character is in high school, and then he's go to school and he meets the girl, and he's just gonna say hi, and just, all of a sudden the hand is just groping her. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was weird. It kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how to think about it, but I'll keep it for a while for now.
Okay. Oh wait. Let's. All right. I imagine we've all watched. I can't understand what my husband is saying, or
Yeah,
Donna.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donna is the abbreviation I've been using.
Yeah. Uh,
Uh,
it was pretty
God.
funny, but at 3 minutes, it doesn't really feel like they can explore it as fun, or uh, can't. It
It's
feels
the,
like it should have more time than it
yeah,
has.
I'll agree. I'll agree.
yeah. It doesn't feel like a actual show because
Yeah.
with so only
Ki-
4 minutes,
It's
four
kind of
minutes
why
per episode.
I'm not really having it really that high, because at only like 3 minutes an episode, it's like doesn't really do enough to really be. It's not like say TQ or Recorder to Rancel, where yeah, it has a short time frame, but it's pretty charming all around. But eh, if it was longer, I'm sure I would rate it higher. Is what I'm saying.
I felt pretty meh about the first episode.
Yeah.
Myself. That contributed. The short time contributed to it a little bit, but I feel like it's probably one of those things that I might put on hold or drop and then come back to at the end of the season when I can just marathon the whole thing in like a half an hour.
Yeah, since it's so
So
short, that's probably not that bad of an idea. But I'll
Yeah.
be keeping with it. But yeah, it's not really enough to really put. I wouldn't really put it on my high recommendation list, since there's not really enough time in each episode for it really to be worth it.
Yeah, I don't know. I really end up enjoying the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It was enjoyable. It's just not quite up there for me.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a lot of time to end up exploring it stuff, but for what it was worth, like all the gags were just like right on point. They had
Like,
lots of wild sex after this. Like, oh my goodness.
what was I gonna say? Like, I'll agree it's probably a little too short. Like, it could probably be at least 2 minutes longer, probably.
Oh, I
But
know. Just switch the times around between that Sega series and this one. Full 11 minutes.
well, like I was gonna say, but I think it's good enough to keep for me.
Yeah.
And the one thing I especially liked is when the husband comes after they come out of the one movie that they watch, the husband just pretty much says like has like this scathing critique, and being that I go to 4chan every now and then, I see pretty much his reaction is essentially like the same thing. That is pretty much that part when he's like, he's like other words and otherwise it's shit. That is image board culture in a nutshell. That's why I liked it so much because I just sort of found it funny, and I sort of hate that about 4chan sometimes. It's like you don't give anything a shot, and you just like one thing, like one episode, or like 1 hour into a game, and you're like blaming the developer or something like that, or you're like blaming other people for you wasting time investing in it, and they'll just say it's shit, and that's actually why like I'm probably gonna be sticking with the show.
Yeah.
And also, I also really love the part when the cameo appearance from that what is it? My fiance, like that one show with the I can't remember they're supposed to be like werewolves. I think actually I think they're like Inugami or something like that. With the I'm trying to remember. The one guy is like a girl's fiance. They're like set up arranged marriage. I can't remember what it's called. And then had the little girl's name is Mahiru. And he's like, Mahiru's my waifu. I'm trying to remember
Oh,
it.
Miss Zero, and it was
Yeah.
engaged to the unidentified or something
There you
like that.
go. There you go. There you go.
uh,
I like that part. I like them referencing that.
Oh, and then they also had a cameo appearance of Nanoha,
Yes.
which I bet Radow loved.
So moe.
And like the thing that made it even better was the wife is voiced by Yukari Tamura, who also voiced Nanoha, and she was using like pretty much the exact same voice. So that was like a really cool little reference for fans.
But interesting.
But yeah, that entire show is just like internet otakus wrapped up in a nutshell.
well,
Yeah, good for a week.
yeah.
Well,
I'll
4 minutes a week, so it's
I'll
not hard
keep
to
with
wait.
it because it is enjoyable, and it's even if I don't feel even if I feel it should have more time at 3 minutes an episode, it isn't really going to take up much of my time each week.
Yeah.
It's going to have 13 episodes, so that puts it at about the total runtime of the show is going to be about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Nozaki-kun, but for what it was worth, it was still pretty fun.
So the
Yeah.
first episode of Fate Stay Night is longer than what this entire show is going to be.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
Nick.
next,
Oh
like,
wait. Good.
all right. Next up is Ishinawa Leta Mirai wo Matamete. I probably butchered that, but
Ushina Vareta.
yeah.
Does it have an English name or
Hold on, let me check real quick.
which show is it?
It's one of those VN translations. The English title is In Search of Lost Future.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that one. I
But
have.
yeah, like, what
What?
were you saying?
No, go ahead.
Like, it started off just like a really generic harem type VN anime, but then it just did a lot of weird stuff. Like, and I'm about to go into some spoilers for the first episode.
I have no interest in it personally, so.
But yeah, there was like a love confession in the very first episode, and then right after that, the girl got hit by a car and died. But then all of a
Wow.
sudden, she was back alive, and I don't know if there's a time loop thing going on, but dude found I think an alien, and it just
Yeah,
Huge what the fuck, just like right through the middle all the way to end.
everything I was hearing and seeing about it, just I had zero interest in that series right
This
now.
show sounds like too much for me.
The main
Yeah.
character is obviously Ho and Kiyama. Time loops.
The first impression wasn't the best possible. You know, the promo art actually had better art than the animation itself.
Yep,
Which
isn't
Yeah.
isn't the animation basically like 3D character models painted over or something?
Yeah, like the main characters are, or the characters are CGI with hand drawn touches on them.
So it's like almost rotoscoped, but because it's CGI, it doesn't really count.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird, but like it's kind of like that show you were talking about with the giant girl. Like I wasn't super like liking it or anything, but it has me curious now. I want to find out what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
I do just want to point
Yeah.
out that the main character of that show is Shiroi from Log Horizon. Same voice.
Oh, okay,
Fun fact.
What did you think, Radow?
that's
Uh,
interesting. I never.
and what else is he in? I think I saw a couple other interesting things. It doesn't matter. Oh, he's Kenji in Tonari no Kaibutsu-kun.
Yeah, guys, that show was so good, but then it just took a
It-
nosedive.
Okay, that show started out really good and then bombed.
Yeah, it just went straight down into mediocrity.
He's also in White Album too.
Oh my
Stranger.
goodness. Oh yeah, that was one of the comparisons I made. By the way, Grisaia was like Higurashi meets White Album. Like it's just like the weirdest mix you could ever think of. Like that would be about saying like another meets Sekikun or something. Like it just does. You wouldn't think it would work, but it does.
Now I really want to see another Meet Seki-kun.
Well, with that, now to
Oh,
talk about the best series of the year,
oh
Seaman
wait.
in My Bathtub.
Mm.
What?
Holy-
Oranchi no Furo Jijo, or I'm not sure.
Or just to make it easy for people, the circumstances in my bathtub.
Let's just call it C-Man.
To us, it's endearingly Seaman in my bathtub. You know, an offhand dirty joke by stranger. But gotta say, that was honestly a waste of 4 minutes. It was so just not really interesting at
That was
all.
4 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
wasn't even funny bad.
Yeah.
It was just boring.
Yeah, it was just sort of bland. It's like
How come that opening
That's-
is so metal?
I don't know.
Why?
Then the ending is like what, classical? It was like this weird thing. It was like what, harpsichord, I think it was. So I was just confused, and like pretty much, the funny thing is I pretty much started out my night watching last night, 'cause that's when I watched the rest of the stuff I needed to watch. I pretty much started out my night watching Seaman in My Bathtub and World Trigger, so it wasn't really a good start,
Yeah.
to be honest.
It's a bad
But I had a feeling
start.
those two were gonna be the lowest quality, so I just got them out of the way, and then after that I watched Rage of Bahamut.
Yeah,
And it was just sort
that's
of
funny because that I watched the see that Seaman in Bathtub for and World Trigger the day before, and then the first series I watched the day after was Rage of Bahamut. So it's like this going from low quality to really really high quality.
and just not to mention, like, it just immediately with one of the jokes goes like really gay. It's like, I need you to spread your legs. It's like, boy.
And it wasn't even playing that off as humorous. It was just he was just saying that, and it was so freaking gay. I've added it to my queue though, so I'm probably gonna watch a couple more episodes.
I'm
Is there
not.
something you'd like to tell us, JoJo?
No, I would say something against it, but everything I've done before has proven the opposite.
It's like I'm done with it. I'm with Stranger that I'm just gonna drop it after the first episode.
Yeah, like there was nothing there to make me come back to it.
I'm not even gonna watch it.
That's
Me
probably a
neither.
good idea.
Yeah.
What?
Me neither.
Okay, I think we should move on from that. One of the first series I've watched this season, Denki-Gai. or Denki-Gai.
Denki-Gai?
Denki-Gai.
Yes, that.
I did watch that.
Oh,
I checked
okay.
that out.
Yeah.
Which is actually what inspired me to check out Working after I saw that.
Yeah.
Working is like for that first episode, Working is like 10 times better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not. It's not to say that Denki-Gai is. I'm gonna give it like 2 or 3 more episodes, but
Yeah.
they're just like for me, the humor didn't hit that much. I'm not a big fan of the art style.
Yeah.
And
I
last,
will admit the animation wasn't really the best. It could have
like I
been.
said, just like the moe elements.
I
It's like
think
sometimes it
it's
worked with it. Sometimes
probably pretty high on my list of things that I am likely to drop.
Yeah. It's.
But it does
I'm
have
pretty
some
much in the same
interesting
thing. Where,
characters.
yeah.
I liked it enough to keep it, and I actually thought some of the jokes were pretty funny, but yeah, I'll agree that
And that's the thing. Like
humor was not all
Yeah.
the humor really.
humor
Yeah.
was essentially hit or miss. But like
Yeah.
that's sort of the thing. I think one of the things that threw me off is that most comedies seem like, especially if it's like a working comedy, like a workplace comedy, they seem to introduce the cast like sort of gradually. This one just sort of like joins in the process where pretty much everybody's already working,
Yeah.
and it just sort of feels like you're supposed to know everything going in.
Mm.
So that was one thing that threw it off. And like I said, like it had some funny moments, like the one manager pretty much after the convention, which was boring as all hell. That part was like really boring. He pretty much had them like, let's say I'm gonna throw a party for you guys, and it just turns out he let them. It's like, I need you to go through all these boxes before morning. So it's just being a cheap ass. Well, like I said, I'm gonna give it 2 or 3 more episodes.
Oh,
I think
one of
the
my
main thing it has going for it is its characters.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, my favorite scene out of it was the one where that one guy was like determining what kind of uh Euro
Yeah.
people would like, and it's like
That's actually.
this one guy has like book called like this my 70-year-old sister, and I think I made a joke like Mahoka the later years or something.
Oh
I was gonna
god.
say, one of the better parts of the show is when the inspector turned out to be an Arrow fan, and she pretty much was like, everyone loves. She gets up, she's on the stage, and pretty much screams, everybody loves erotic stuff. And I was like, that's probably one of the better parts of the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to stick with it, and I did I honestly was charmed by it, but it's probably on the lower end.
Like I mean, here's the thing, like it's not the only series this year
Yeah.
that started out with a rough first episode. I'll sort of like draw a parallel that I thought the first episode of Nozuki was a bit hit or miss, and look how that turned out.
Yeah.
But like I said,
I'll
I'll
give
give
it
it
a
like
few more episodes, but
I'm gonna give it maybe to episode 4. If I like what I see,
same. I think
I'll
I can give
stick
it.
with it. But like right now, I sort of agree with you that it's sort of right there on shows that I'm probably just gonna drop at some point.
Yeah.
See, it didn't really draw me in. I didn't find it too interesting. The main part that I really liked, actually wasn't the sommelier party. It was when what's his name, Umio, goes and helps Sensei with the manga
Yeah.
that she was working on. That was the scene that I really liked
Oh yeah, when
out
she
of the
turns
whole
into a
thing.
baby form, and that other white blonde chick was like, and he commented on how she had like a motherly aura to her.
Yeah, I liked that scene, and the scene that comes afterwards, where it's just sort of they just pull an all nighter together
Yeah.
and finish the manga. But other than that, I really wasn't very interested in anything that was going on, and the the only jokes that really hit home that I thought were funny was the sort of like character gags
Yeah.
with like director
Oh yeah.
recording people. That
I
was the only thing that I really found funny.
I swear
Was when he
that
was recording
director
people.
guy sounds like the main character from the comic artist. I tried looking it up, but I couldn't find anything. But I swear he sounds the same.
Comic artist the main character's voice actors are really awesome in that.
Yeah.
He's also Sora in No Game No Life, which I know I liked a lot more than you, JJ, but whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see, what was his name again? Yoshitsugu Matsuoka.
Yeah.
He's in Akame ga Kill as well.
What character did he play?
Oh, he is the director. That's why.
Oh. I knew he
Yep.
sounded familiar. I just loved his voice out of all the
Yeah.
characters in that one.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's probably one of my favorite voice actors, who is in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So.
Like.
Actually, you guys briefly mentioned No Game No Life, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there any idea when that's coming back?
Nope.
No news
It
yet,
might-
but we need a second season so
It might
bad.
not.
I
Yeah.
can't wait.
I'm
I
really worried
cannot
it's one
wait.
of those.
I really
Yeah.
can't wait for the second season.
Prob-
As opposed to me being sort of very iffy about the second season of Nisekoi. I saw that, I'm like,
I'm excited for Nisekoi season 2.
And too, like I don't expect nothing from the plot, but that show's just hilarious. And so
like I
long
said,
as
it's
Shaft's
funny.
still
But
animating
it's funny, but it's like your typical harem, and at the same time, it's like, your typical romance. Like nothing happens, or just like pretty much, I don't know. That's pretty much the one when you pretty much got me to watch it a couple months back. It was pretty much the primary reason that I could never watch more than one episode at a time. Generally, I just sort of got sick of the stuff that was in it besides the humor. So.
It was just like the most hilarious torture ever.
And I pretty much,
really
I remember
liked it
I called it
overall.
the other day I called it, what was it? Because me and I think Scarion and Laws were talking about it, and he was saying it's like beautiful torture, and I said no, it's more like why did I let stranger talk me into a harem romance comedy type torture. And that's essentially what it is. But what were we talking about before?
Denkin
Yeah,
Guy.
Denki-Gai.
And then we somehow got No Game No Life, and then Nisekoi.
Yeah.
Welcome to Divergence Cast.
Where we diverge from the subject.
But before we get back on topic, at least I know Jay didn't like Nisekoi, but that'd be something
Well,
for me and you to
In
talk
general, I usually don't like anything by Shaft.
What?
about. Ooh.
Shots fired.
You don't like
Bakemonogatari is probably
Madoka.
one of my favorite. Probably my
It's
favorite.
not
anime,
like
so.
A1
Or one of
Pictures
them.
where I don't like them for their quality. It's just I don't like their style in general.
Oh, I love the
Let's
style
all
that they use.
Let's all tilt our head right now, JJ.
I actually
God,
did,
my
but
neck
then I
hurts
realized
now.
nobody can see me.
Well, no, I am I'm adjusting my glasses.
Fair enough.
Is there anything?
I don't know. I
Any
think
others?
Shaft's style is very interesting and just
Yeah.
enjoyable to watch.
For me, it's they overuse it way too much, and it's just, I just plain up don't like it.
Well, let's say I will admit
Okay.
like Shaft isn't for everybody, especially if you watch Bakemonogatari, but because like one of the things that I thought would be sort of like something really hit or miss with like people is, and you might be able to identify with the stranger, how like before every episode really got started, they always did like the really fast like summary stuff and all that, like the text and all that.
Yeah.
I always thought some people might look at that as like sort of pretentious, but I personally wind up liking that.
I thought it
Anything,
was really cool.
yeah, like I have pretty much enjoyed everything I've watched so far from Shaft.
Yeah. To me, it's kind of the opposite. Nothing I really like. I didn't really like anything I've watched from Shaft that much.
JJ, I respect your opinion, but you're wrong.
You're so wrong.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Like I
Calm
said,
No, I really do respect your opinion, though. Everyone has their own thing that
Yeah.
they like in animation.
yeah, like I said, it's
Wait, what's Radow?
not-
Wait, Radow, what you think of
Oh.
Shaft?
Well, what was that one show with the computer girl? Girl
And the
on
Kaku City
computer.
Actors?
Yeah,
City
yeah,
Actors?
yeah. I like that. I liked pretty much everything.
Mm.
It had, and even that was clever, but maybe it was a bit too clever for me.
Well,
Okay,
they also
I don't
did
think-
Alphatella Memories.
If anyone tells you that they understand Mikaku City Actors, they're lying.
Exactly.
No, like I said, that show had a lot of potential. Just they needed more than 12 episodes.
If they had
They
26, I think it would have
they
worked out very well.
sincerely needed more episodes. And
Mm.
like I said, I will still maintain the post-credit scenes, like the story they told and after the credits, is probably still, I think, one of the most beautiful things from this year, at least from an anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny.
It has probably one of my favorite openings from the year as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think Will liked it a little bit too.
Yeah.
Just
And
felt like 200 times in a day.
the closing was really good as well.
Yeah.
But
I don't
I
that's
would
just
say
remember.
my
some of the
opinion.
some of the other songs they also used are pretty good. But then there's, I think, around episode 8 where they had like that CGI intro.
Okay,
Oh,
that
was
was just
God.
weird, and
Another
That
they should.
was just
one
such a
thing.
strange
One
thing,
thing
and
about
that never really works. Like CGI sometimes just doesn't work.
oh Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. That first opening was just no, and it just sucks because the opening song by ah fuck. She's a Russian singer, but she also mixes in some English and Latin
We wouldn't
into her songs.
we wouldn't we wouldn't know.
I'm looking up not right now. Sorry. Ghost in the Shell. Okay. Uh,
Now I'm listening to Days.
hmm.
This silence brought to you by Macaque City Actors.
While
Oh,
JJ looks up something
Orga.
random.
Orga. Yeah. It's basically the first opening to Ghost in the Shell is just like this CGI. Yeah. It does just plain up doesn't work. Which is funny because even though the CGI doesn't work, it's kind of slightly better than the 2.0 version of the movie. Uh, but the song is just both of the openings to standalone complex are just fantastic. But I honestly put the second one above it, the second opening above the first, just simply because of how much it, just because of the CGI in the first. It's just nah. And the animation in the second is really good.
Standalone Complex is something I've been meaning to watch for a
Oh,
while and
oh,
never got around to
definitely.
doing.
I definitely recommend it. It's like very, very smart, a very smart series. Though sometimes I'm not quite sure if the series is smarter than me or it's dumber than me and makes me think it's smarter than me. It's
Well,
interesting as hell, is what, though. Just,
I think I just moved it to high priority.
yeah. Because
Um,
it's got like the cyberpunk setting, but sort of mystery with some police procedural a little bit.
I've
But
been I've
yeah,
been on like a I've been on like a trip with that type of genre with Psychopass and then Mardock Scramble
oh yeah, and
and then
I
I'm gonna be doing
I
Ghost in the
just
Shell.
love the hell out of the Ghost in the Shell universe. It's just like everyone's cyberized, and there's stuff like hacking into people's brains, and oh, it's just so freaking interesting. And just how they do it, like with the police investigations and how they're mainly focused on cyberized crimes and with cyborgs and stuff. It's just interesting as hell.
I just figured out what my recommendation for the end of the episode is gonna be when we get to that in like a million years.
Probably. Yeah, we should probably get back on track.
What simulcast were we even talking about that led to Ghost in the Shell?
I think we were still talking about
I think it's
Denki-Gai.
Here's like, are there really any more simulcasts we could really talk about?
The only other
Oh,
one I have is Laughing Under the Clouds, which I don't think any of you watched.
Yeah, so
No, I
yeah,
think
Uh,
we've covered everything I've seen.
with
yeah,
Laughing
me
in
too.
Under the Clouds, it's I honestly enjoyed what I saw, but it's definitely shojo. There's definitely aspects about it that were very heavily shojo, but the characters were fun and the setting was interesting. Though I'll admit the main character was annoying. Though the other brother, the younger and older brother characters were both pretty fun. Uh, and of course, Alex mentioned it before we started recording, but yeah, there's a scene where he kind of dresses up as a chick and dresses up the main character as a baby, and the comedy is pretty funny in the series.
Boku no Pico too.
No.
And I wouldn't say it's really up there with Rage of Bahamut for me, but it still really interests me to keep watching it. Other than that, I don't really think I have any more simulcasts to talk about.
Well,
Have
I
you
do just want to say my last simulcast point is coming back to Kokkuri-san.
Yeah.
Is that it's listed as a shonen show, but the character designs make it look very shoujo.
Yeah, I don't get how it's shonen because, well, it just doesn't seem shonen.
It doesn't seem shonen at all.
No, it seems very
Um,
shoujo, so I don't get that.
Especially just with the animation style.
Yeah, and the character dynamics of a main female character and most male characters. It seems like a reverse harem, sort of, but not really.
Except with a 5-year-old.
Well,
God.
yeah. To be fair, I don't think it's going to be that in a harem in that way.
No.
No. But it could be interesting to see how that works out. How exactly it is shonen. I don't know.
Maybe there'll be some like epic battles between the ghosts.
Well, to be fair, at that last part in the first episode, the main what's her name, Ka, Kahina. She had those two bats and she beat up Kokkuri. I don't know. Anyways, any other simulcasts we wish to talk about?
I got nothing.
I've
Did
got
we
one
all-
more.
What?
Did
I
we-
got one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Sora no Method, which me and Radow saw.
Oh yes, I was going to ask you already to that too. About that. That's actually my favorite simulcast premiere so far.
Yeah, like
Dang, now I have to watch it.
Yeah, it's so cute. That's all I can say about it.
yeah, Radow, you like your moe, don't you?
Yes, I love Moe, and especially best is that it also airs on Sunday, so I can watch it right after Grisaia. So it's perfect. It's a perfect balance.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's so cute and so yeah. It's like Anohana meets Sora and Voto meets Canon meets Keion. That's like everything great in Moe, but plus everything great in drama.
Yeah, like first of all, it's written by the scenario writer for Canon, so that's one of my favorite anime. So I'm pretty interested to find out where it goes next. And like it's got the whole Inohana thing of like the characters just kind of living life, but then they start like getting into like really emotional stuff, just like going back and forth. And that was all just in one episode. Like it's pretty cool if it makes you feel something after one episode.
Mm.
Sheena, what does the tension meter say about his cuteness level? It's over 9,000!
But yeah, like so far, Noelle is a very interesting character. Like I really want to find out like what exactly she's gonna end up doing,
Mm.
and like the whole thing with the disc in the sky, which I've like judging by anything else I've ever seen, Noelle is gonna have to be tied to that in some way.
Yeah,
But yeah,
of
like
course,
she can't.
of course, yes.
But yeah, like she reappeared to help the main girl grant a wish, and like it's just very reminiscent of Minma coming back to grant Jintan's mother's wish in Anohana.
Mm. Yeah,
So yeah, I'm interested to find out where that goes next.
yeah. And Nonoka seems to be interesting character too. Like she looks like that very typical, like more like Shrinking Violet, the kind of shy moe girl, but she actually has some spunk in her. So
You
that's
talking about Noelle?
aivan Nonoka, the
Oh yeah.
the other girl. They seem to have good chemistry, you know. Well, not necessarily like Yuri chemistry, but you know,
Yeah, not romantic, but platonic.
but adorable friendshipping and
Yeah, I'm looking forward to find out what happens next. But so far, the premiere was pretty solid and probably one of my favorites of the season.
yeah. I was
Not to
again
the level.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get.
I'll have to check it out. Maybe it'll wind up replacing one of the shows I drop.
What's it?
If I
What?
if I drop anything, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's
My
definitely some things that I'm considering.
Yeah. My suggestion is watch it after Grisaia, so it's a good balance for it so far.
Yeah, like Radow said, it's actually kind of like Glass Lip, only good.
Yeah, that was my first impression. Like it was very much the atmosphere and art and style and all was very classy, but I actually gave a damn about everything.
Who does the animation on it?
It's
It's
a brand new studio called Studio 3HZ.
Ah,
So
Like they don't have a Wikipedia page or nothing, so
Huh.
I'll check it real quick.
So
now I want to check it out just to see what they can do.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting so far. Mhm.
Well, anything else we wish to talk about in simulcasts? Since we've seen.
Oh,
Oh.
one last thing. I just checked the Studio 3HZ page on my anime list, and it just redirected back to Sora no Method. So apparently they've done nothing else before that.
Interesting.
So yeah, this is their first series, so it's gonna be interesting how they end up.
Interesting.
Recommendations: if you like Sora no Method, Anohana, and Glass Clip, so I guess our comparisons were apt.
Well,
Mm.
I guess with that finished, I know that was a very, very long simulcast discussion, but
Because
Yeah.
between us, we watched like pretty much every simulcast so far.
pretty much, and there's still some more to be released, and then some
Yeah, like
I haven't watched yet.
freaking
Yeah.
Twin Tails
Psychopass 2 hype.
and Shirobako, which is like PA work, so meets K-On.
Well,
and of course, and Sansaku no Musune Ronya, the Ghibli's show.
the what? Oh yeah, that one.
Ronya.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, no!
I'm
That
so
What
CGI
show?
looked like freaking Ayano Theory of Happiness. Just no.
I'm so gonna watch that.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh yes, a
I'm
Studio
interested.
Ghibli series, and I saw the preview, like, just no, oh no,
Yeah,
ain't happening.
I'm fairly certain that since they have Polygon doing the animation, it's all CGI. So I'm
Okay, so with Ayano's theory of happiness, I felt like the way that they did the animation was like if four people had done it, I would be like maybe impressed. I'd be like, okay, that that was pretty cool. They made something interesting, but because it was Shaft,
er,
I was just like, what is this? What is this crap?
It's like a running joke now.
Yeah.
It was
anyway.
just so bad.
All right. Any other anime you wish to talk about outside of simulcasts?
Nothing.
Nope.
Well, me, I finished Katanagatari, and I love the hell out of it. I will say it had flaws, which I talked about in the last episode, but this just the art style was really, really pretty all around, and I love the hell out of the characters, especially I forget cut something or another. But she's like this monk that takes on aspects of several, like 4 or 5 of the other characters and the personality of a different character. But she was just fun all around. And admittedly, it is a time investment with like an hour an episode for like 12 episodes. And some of the writing does feel cheap at times, but I just loved it all around. And that last scene at the last episode was where he just I'm not going to spoil it, but just, yeah, I love the hell out of it.
Was it White Fox who did the
Yep,
animation?
White Fox.
Okay, then I have high expectations. It's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, and for the record, it's the same writer as Monogatari.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sounds like right up your alley, Adam.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to check this out.
Oh, another
I
thing
plan on
about
checking
it
out,
is
too.
the two main characters just are so freaking adorable together and just bounce off each other so well. Like Togami, she's the main female character. She's so freaking goofy yet lovable. And the main character is like sort of an idiot, but he's self-aware enough that he can make comments on everything that just feel kind of smart at the same time. And it's just they bounce off each other so well. And so honestly, while I'm here, and I'll talk about it in just a sec. So, anything else you guys want to talk about as far as anime?
I started
Uh,
watching Noragami.
Or was that a series that came out like 1 or 2 seasons ago?
Yeah, I think it was earlier this
Yeah.
year. I think it was like winter, spring this year.
Yeah, I've heard about it, but I don't know what it's about.
It's about a minor god who's so low on the hierarchy of gods that he doesn't even have a shrine. So he writes his cell phone number on like the wall of a bathroom in some city and gets phone calls and does like jobs for people.
Okay,
And
now
that's a pretty bad summary of the premise, but that's what I got.
yeah,
This sounds pretty cool.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm actually kind of interested in it
it's
now.
also it's got a really interesting cast of the three main characters, and they all play off each other really well and are hilarious. And there's a girl, Hiyori, who gets hit by a bus in the process of pushing Yato the god out of the way, even though he probably would have been just fine. She didn't know that. So and like her soul falls out of her body, so she can kind of like she gains the ability to like leave her body. And then there's also another character named Yukine, who is basically he turns into a weapon. It's kind of Soul Eater-ish,
Hmm.
where
I
he can turn into a weapon, and him and Yato fight monsters and stuff.
Yeah, I heard about it before, but and one of my friends was trying to recommend it to me before, but I never really had that much interest in it until now. So I'll probably eventually give it a try.
I say
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. It's really enjoyable to watch, and especially just because the three main characters, the way that they interact, is just very entertaining.
Hmm.
Where like where there's like a dynamic of Yukine. He's like a teenage guy, and he like his mind or soul or whatever is like connected with Yato the god, who uses him as a weapon. So whenever Yukine has like a dirty thought, it's Yato gets stung, like he feels pain. So and they use that to and they use that as like a running gag, and it's pretty funny when it's used. I know it might not sound too funny when I'm just saying it, but when it's actually being used practically, it's pretty entertaining.
yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah, I just added it to my MAL plan to watch list. Definitely couldn't check that one out.
Yeah,
It's
me
been
too.
on Netflix for the last like what month,
Yeah,
so I plan on watching it eventually.
yeah. How about you, Radow?
Well, the plot is finally taking off in Sailor Moon of Steel. Well, like episode 7 was aired like last weekend. We finally got to the Sailor V or Venus.
Yeah.
Well, that was it.
Well,
Hmm.
is there anything else we wish to talk about in anime?
Not that I can-
Adam also started a series that takes place in a little mountain village.
I did.
Yeah, you don't know what I'm talking about?
Uh
Hey, but
oh,
Higurashi.
Higurashi.
Yes.
I thought we talked about that last time. Okay. Yeah, I've been watching Higurashi. That's been interesting and pretty entertaining. It's definitely it's it's a page turner show. Whenever I finish an episode, I want to watch the next one, and I actually have to stop myself when it's like getting late. So
Yeah, I know that feeling.
it's really good plot wise.
And you don't even have no idea because the second season's just what turns the plot up to like next level.
Turns it up to 11.
It turns up to like 15 or 16.
Exactly.
Well, I'll look forward to it.
Yes, you should look forward to a Kira.
Oh. Uh, why do I feel like that was a lie?
No.
I think Stranger
no,
can tell us
no.
why.
Are y'all
Yeah.
trying to give me post-traumatic stress disorder or something? Like, seriously? Why
Okay.
you gotta torture me, man?
Okay, we should probably move on to something else before Stranger starts going into
No!
seizures.
I can
I've
see
been
it coming
trying
again.
to
It's
watch.
happening in my eyes.
I've been
No!
trying to watch Ergo Proxy, which is
Oh.
a very smart series, I guess. It's really massive. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, even though I started watching like 2 or 3 weeks ago, because it's a massive info dump
Yeah.
each episode, um, where it's not a show that I can marathon because I have to
Yeah.
take a few days to process each episode after I watch it. So I've only gotten through 2, even though I started watching like 20 days ago.
Yeah.
But
It's
it's
really
good so far, but it's
yeah. Slow, kinda.
you gotta take it slow. Even if
Yeah.
the story doesn't move along slowly, you gotta make it so that you can get all of it
Yeah.
in your brain.
Which is kind of why I dropped it, because it doesn't really go anywhere fast for me.
I'm gonna try to stick with it because so far with what I've seen, it's been interesting. But and I also kind of want to finish it just to say that I did and hopefully understood it,
Yeah.
you know. But it's definitely a very strange series um, that is difficult to understand, but it's interesting.
Mm.
And also, I think it has really good animation for 2006.
Well, yeah. Let's see. Was that by Madhouse or?
It sounds like something they would have done. Let
Yeah,
me check.
because I know Madhouse actually had a pretty good year with 2006. Because like Black Lagoon still looks fantastic, even though it also came out that year. And
It doesn't look like it was Madhouse,
hmm.
but
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Hmm. Yes,
So
2006 was a pretty good year.
yeah, I think 2006 was just a good year overall for anime.
Yeah. Well, anything else we want to talk about in anime?
Nope.
All right. Let's see. Let's start off with games or VNs we recommend. Uh,
Are we gonna do
Yes.
news?
I didn't really have any news, and I figured we're already at like 2 hours or over two
Yeah.
hours.
Oh, there's one bit of news that I actually sort of forgot about when I heard, because I heard like a month ago. Apparently, Miku is supposed to be on Letterman tonight.
Yeah.
What?
Oh
Tonight?
wow.
Wait,
Where?
tonight?
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, I guess it like yesterday or the day before, whenever people are listening to this.
So has anyone here seen Durarara? However you say that. Too many
I
Ras.
tried
Uh,
to, but
DRRR.
I've wanted to watch since it's the same like
yeah,
author as Bakano, but
and
Yeah.
yeah, I tried to, but I wasn't really giving it a valid shot since I was comparing it to Bakano, so I'll probably eventually go back to it with trying to give it trying to give it a better chance than what I was giving it.
Well, the second season looks like it's gonna be 3 cores,
Yeah.
which is like up to I don't know how many episodes per core they're gonna do, but that could be up to around 40 episodes for the second season.
Is there even enough material for that?
I have no idea. But
I wish I'd make another season of Bakano. There is some more material in the.
I'm not sure how
light
well it
novels.
did over there, though, in
Well,
Japan at least. Because, I mean, if you consider a series like Trigun, which was very more Western aesthetic, it really bombed in Japan, but had a pretty big following over here. So I have no idea if that's the same, that would go for the same way as Baccano, since it also has a very Western feel to it. I don't know.
Well, Baccano takes place in America, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So
it's
I haven't
19.
seen it. I've been meaning to.
Oh, definitely check it out. It's 1930s gangs and stuff, and you got immortals and really graphic deaths and all
Sounds fun.
it is fun, honestly. Very violent, but fun.
Yeah, I didn't really like it. Like, I could tell it was decent, but it just wasn't for me at all.
Yeah, I can understand that.
It sounds more to my taste than
Yeah.
Strangers.
Actually, I'm kind of curious how Stranger would like Black Lagoon since it's very action movie, and I think Baccano was kind of action movie a bit.
Yeah, action's one of my least favorite genres,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
probably
I'm
not
not really
surprised to.
sure how you'll react if you ever watch Black Lagoon, which I kind of do want you to, if for no other reason. If even if you don't like it, I want you to watch a specific scene involving probably the greatest side character ever.
You mean TK?
No, he's this Russian, or not Russian. He's Irish, but the thing is, in the scene, he's high as fuck, and he's the getaway driver. So he makes all these weird comments like Playboy and references to stuff like Playboy and Klingons and stuff, and it's just
What the hell?
amazing. It, it sucks that he's only in that or in that one episode and a little before that, but he's amazing. He's just this
So
crazy Irish getaway driver who's high as fuck. It's just
so about Black Lagoon, would you recommend watching that dub or sub?
definitely dub.
Okay.
It's like it and Baccano are the two series I say watch dub for sure, because the dub just really adds to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're both very Western-ish sort of, and the dubs were really solid, like
Like Helsing.
yeah, and
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Also, a funny thing about that is all the characters. Like, there's a lot of characters from Death Note, but there's also all the characters basically are in stuff like uh, My Little Pony and Barbie, and it's just hilarious to see that. Like, there's this one scene where Revi, the main female character, and Roberta, basically the in-universe equivalent of the Terminator, beat each other bloody in it, and it's just hilarious when you realize that there are two characters in My Little Pony. It's just hilarious.
I don't think I understood the last couple minutes of words that just happened.
Yeah, I just kind of zoned out. Like I don't even know what's going on.
I think it's time we wrap the show up.
I
Yeah,
think JJ's high a little bit.
I think we're all tired after that. Anyways, we were on Games Reviews we recommended, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Smash.
All right, Smash.
Gotta
Shadows
buy
of
a
Mordor.
Smash.
Shadows of
Uh,
Mordor.
I'm going to go out and say Saints Row 3 and 4, because no other game will allow you to hit a dickhead in the head or hit a dick in the head.
Oh man, oh my
That
god,
sentence
Zemos.
was so what the hell?
You'd have
Was
to
it-
actually play the Saints Row 4, and
Yeah, man, what a hit a dickhead.
it's like
Saints Row 3. Saints Row 3. The scene with Zemos and you make him mush on the cart or the carriage.
and
I was dying at that part.
and he's like in a gimp suit.
Yeah, he has a ball gag in his mouth. And then you take that out and he has a auto-tuned voice.
Yeah, and in Saints Row 4, there's stuff like that one I was talking about was a pun on morality choices, and it's just so ridiculous and hilariously over the top. It's like the best comedy game ever. Yeah. And how about you, Radow?
Oh, you already know I don't play video games not that much.
Okay, then. How about you, Adam?
Hmm. I haven't been playing too many new things. And I don't remember what I've recommended the last couple times I was on here. So I'm hoping I don't repeat anything. Um, what's a really Super Mario Bros.
Hmm?
It's
Okay.
a it's
Never heard
a
of that.
it's a
What's that
it's a,
about?
it's a classic. I think everyone should play that game.
I don't know. It seems too hipster for people.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's it.
I liked Super Mario Bros. Before it was cool. No, okay, Super Mario Bros. Was cool before I was born. So
All
Hey,
I ever plays that Call of Duty, bruh. 360
hey,
no scope.
hey.
Oh god, the other day I saw this terrible picture. I was like, um, member of the Navy. He's like comforting or like trying to like, console a kid. It's like, it's like I 360 no scoped your father. And I was like, oh my god. Or it's like your dad, he got 360 360 quick scoped or something like that. I was like, ah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess we got that out of the way, so we should probably move on. Anime were you
Um,
Oh, well,
we
go
want
ahead.
to do something a little bit different for anime recommendations this week and just say our top three simulcast people
Oh
should
yeah.
watch.
That
And
yeah,
I
you
actually
go.
do have an anime that I want to recommend that's not simulcast though.
Okay
you
then.
monster.
I guess we do both.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about doing something like that as well, but it kind of slipped my mind.
I'm
Oh,
down
and
for both, but
Yeah.
of course, Log Horizon doesn't count because everyone here will say watch Log Horizon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for me, Rage of Bahamut is my number one from this season. Next is my second one I'd recommend is Gurugu Kokora-san. Third, I think I would put Amagami Brilliant Park. Fourth for me, Garo, cause even with its flaws, it was genuinely interesting to me.
thought we were doing top three.
Oh, duh,
You
fuck.
got too eager.
Okay, my top three are, uh, Rage of Bahamut, Guguru, and
You can't say that title.
I can't say a lot of words, okay? And Amagami.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
No way in hell am I saying that, Adam. Stay away from me. You are not human if you can say that fast.
I'm a
Well,
Time
You
Lord.
would happen to be an Irish getaway driver, would you?
No.
And Amagami Brilliant Park. And the anime I recommend is Katanagatari, since basically everything I said before about it. And yeah, that's it for me.
um, I'm actually just gonna go with four, so screw it. So because sort of I would say the last two I'm gonna recommend are tied for my current shows. Rage of Bahamut, and then really no certain order either. Rage of Bahamut, Kokkuri-san, or Gugure Kokkuri-san, and Amagi Brilliant Park and Battle. And have we recommended Baccano already?
Baccano. I think we did either last episode or before.
Might as well do it again.
Okay.
Recommend every up.
What?
Recommend every up if you have to.
You know what? Screw it. I haven't finished. Actually, screw it. I'll say No Game, No Life. Check out the
Yes.
first
Yeah.
season of that.
That's cool.
And
And
then for me, I would say my top one is definitely Grisaia. And second one would be Amagi Brilliant Park. Third would be Sora No Method. And to just be like everyone else, throwing a fourth is Denikin.
and you, Adam?
I'm going to go in alphabetical order because true numbers. Um, I'd say Amagi Brilliant Park, um, the Inou-Battle, and the Fruit of Grisaia.
Is that your
If I
fourth?
Log Horizon database.
Database?
Whoa.
Didn't we say no log horizon?
Yes, but I'm
Yeah.
going against the curve.
All right,
I
fine.
do what I want.
Yeah, make sure people know to watch it.
Yeah. Also because I haven't seen any other simulcast that I really can recommend
Yeah,
that I like wholeheartedly.
Yeah, you need
Like
to check
there's
out
some
Rage
things
of
that I can be.
Bahamut.
Yeah,
Check out
I'll
Seha
probably check
Girls.
that out. No, I'll probably check out Rage of Bahamut and Sora Method.
Yeah.
So for my anime outside of that I would recommend, I want to say Time of Eve, which is it's sort of similar to iRobot, as in the short stories, not really the movie. Um, and it's about a society where androids are commonplace and the effects it has on people and what happens when the androids sort of begin to gain a bit of self-awareness. And it's a really interesting. It's a ONA, and it's got a total runtime of it's six episodes, and it's got a total runtime of about 2 hours. But there's also a movie that is a little bit less runtime wise, but it has extra scenes because I guess they only showed the credits once. um, and you can both of them. Just watch both of them. Watch the original series first, and then watch the movie with some extra scenes. And it's a really enjoyable experience, and it's awesome. 9 out of 10.
Oh, and by the way, I forgot to do my little outside recommendation, so I'm gonna go ahead and say White Album too, because that series, like, it takes the concept of a love triangle and actually makes it realistic instead of just full of anime logic and stuff. So yeah, I really like that anime.
That's cool because I really dislike when they just shoehorn in a love triangle in a lot of shows. So
Yeah, the only other one I've seen that did it well was Fatella Memories.
oh yeah.
So
Props
yeah,
for
that and
that.
White Album 2 did the best for those.
And you read out?
Yeah. Uh, my three simulcasts are, well, Sora no Method for the first spot. Well, you already heard why, because it's cute. And then for second one is, okay, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna tell them in order. It's just Amagi Brilliant Park, because I love the snarky humor in it, yeah, that were randomness and magic and stuff.
And that
And the
butt.
Glorious Butt, yeah.
And third one is Inou-Battle. Battle. I don't know how to spell it, pronounce it. Yeah, Inou-Battle is for third, and for recommendation, I give Seita no Ichi-san, which I still say is my favorite comedy of anime of all time. Great parody in harem genre and lots of meta humor and tons of references.
Yeah, it especially helps if you've seen a lot of anime before it because you get more of the jokes.
Yeah,
Like there's. What were you
I
saying?
was yeah I watched it already like 3 times in a row, and every time I find something recognized more and more. So it's very what's rewarding to watch over and over again.
Yeah, like those Higurashi references, Umineko, Full Metal Alchemist, Death Note, Haruhi, all kinds of
K,
stuff.
there's even K on reference. Yeah, so yeah, that's about it. Seito kind of Ichi-san.
Okay. Well,
Also, I want to do some point. I've been following Twitter after Twitter. Meanwhile, and Arrow season 3 apparently starts right about now.
which
Season,
what?
Uh,
season 3 premiere of Arrow.
Oh, Arrow.
Yeah, Arrow.
Okay.
It actually. Oh wait, now it's most recent tweet is it starts in 1 hour on CW. Well, I'm not gonna watch it now. It's too because it's 2 a.m. in Finland.
I
Oh
just
my
realized
goodness.
that I forgot you were in Finland.
Time
I
zones.
hope you really don't have anything to do tomorrow.
Nah, I have free day tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sleep. I'm just gonna drink Dr. Pepper here.
Yeah.
Do some science.
Science. Yes.
Science is the
True
only
Dark
thing you can go
Intellectuals.
with Dr. Pepper. Well,
Yes.
I guess is there anything else we wish to recommend besides Log Horizon?
Log Horizon.
All
Just
right.
recommend it again.
I recommend logging into the database and being ready for the punchline.
I am always ready for the punchline, damn
There's
it.
no use with all your gimmicks.
Badum.
So check
So
this
check
out.
this out.
Well, hopefully you were able to sit through at least most of this extremely long episode and enjoy it. If you liked our show, then follow us on Twitter, as the links will be in the description for both the show and all of us.
And if they're not, we'll flog Alex.
Wait, what?
If we
I
had
said
to
we'll
sit through this,
flog
the
you.
audience should too.
Yes.
Totally.
Additionally, you can follow us on MAL or Ask.fm under pretty much the same names if we have them. And be sure to subscribe to our channel and recommend us to people as well. And please, yes, please. And special thanks to Adam and Radow for joining us this week and for providing a lot of insights into different series along with our own. Until next time, hopefully you were able to sit through this. Bye.
Later.
Later.
Hello.